Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are on to our main event now. We're doing our retrospective review of Black Panther 1. So, this is going to be very exciting. What are you thinking so far, Ike? Just getting started with this.
This is going to be a hard one for me today, guys. And the opposite problem than last week's. So,
okay.
I'm not going to say this is a bad movie. Well, I definitely have my issues with it, and we'll have a good discussion about it, and we'll see how it goes. I'm going to be as fair with it as I possibly can.
Okay.
That just gives you a little hint, I guess. So,
all right. Well, I
come
guess.
at me, internet.
All right. Well, I'm gonna kickstart this guy off. Everyone with the history behind the film. So, Black Panther 1. It was released February 16th, 2018. The main cast include Chadwick Boseman, Michael B. Jordan, Lupita Nyong'o, Danae Gurira. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your names, guys. Letitia Wright. Letitia, is it? Did I say that? I'm so sorry. All right, Winston Duke, Angela Bassett, Forrest Whitaker, Martin Freeman, and Andy Serkis. All right. So, the development of Marvel Studios' first Black Panther film was one of the most culturally significant projects in the MCU and represented a major step forward in expanding the universe's diversity and global storytelling. The character of T'Challa was introduced to audiences in Captain America: Civil War, but Marvel had been discussing a Black Panther movie for years. By the time the film entered production, the MCU was deep into Phase 3, coming off the successes of Civil War, Doctor Strange, and Guardians Volume 2, while preparing for the massive events of Avengers: Infinity War. Marvel saw an opportunity to introduce Wakanda as one of the most unique locations in the MCU, a technologically advanced African nation that had remained hidden from the world. Director Ryan Coogler was hired after the success of his acclaimed film Creed, and Marvel was impressed by his ability to combine character-driven drama, cultural themes, and emotional storytelling with blockbuster filmmaking. Coogler, along with co-writer Joe Robert Cole, wanted the movie to explore themes of identity, responsibility, tradition, and the relationship between Africa and the global community, rather than simply create another superhero origin story. At the time of filming in 2017, the cast was experiencing a major career growth and the MCU was at its peak popularity. Chadwick Boseman had already impressed audiences as T'Challa in Civil War and was becoming one of Hollywood's most respected rising stars. Boseman approached the role with a focus on portraying T'Challa as a thoughtful leader rather than simply a powerful warrior. Michael B. Jordan reunited with Ryan Coogler after Fugitive Station and Creed to play Eric Killmonger, while Lupita Nyong'o, Danae Gurira, Letitia Wright, Angela Bassett, and Forrest Whitaker joined the ensemble. The film featured one of Marvel's strongest supporting casts, with many of the women of Wakanda, Okoye, Shuri, and Akia, playing central roles rather than being secondary characters. Production took place primarily in Atlanta, South Korea, and Africa-inspired locations, with Marvel creating extensive practical sets for Wakanda while combining them with visual effects to create the fictional nation's futuristic technology. Behind the scenes, Marvel and Coogler worked extensively to ensure Wakanda felt like a fully developed civilization rather than a fictionalized version of one specific African culture. The production hired cultural consultants, historians, designers, and experts to incorporate influences from multiple African regions, languages, clothing styles, and traditions. The Dora Milaje, Wakanda's elite female warriors, drew inspiration from various real-world African warrior traditions while being reimagined for the MCU. One of the film's biggest creative decisions was making Killmonger the villain. Rather than creating a traditional villain seeking world domination, Coogler wanted an antagonist whose beliefs challenged T'Challa's worldview. Killmonger's argument that Wakanda had the resources and power to help oppressed people around the world but chose isolation created conflict where both sides had understandable motivations. Maybe. Marvel viewed him as a reflection of T'Challa's own strengths with leadership and the responsibilities of power. Some fun production facts include the creation of Shuri's Advanced Wakandan Technology Lab, which became one of Marvel's most visual creative environments, the use of real South African locations and landscapes, and intense training required for the cast to perform the film's large-scale action sequences. The film's famous Challenge Day combat scenes were designed to combine superhero spectacle with traditional ritual and cultural storytelling. When Black Panther was released in 2018, it became a phenomenon far beyond typical superhero films. Critics praise its world-building performances, themes, visual style, and cultural significance. The film earned approximately 98% on Rotten Tomatoes from critics and 79% from audiences. Financially, it became one of Marvel's biggest successes, grossing approximately $1.35 billion worldwide against a production budget estimated around $200 million. It was the first superhero film nominated for an Academy Award for Best Picture and won 3 Oscars for costume design, production design, and original score. More importantly, Black Panther proved to audiences around the world would embrace stories centered on characters and cultures that had historically been underrepresented in blockbuster filmmaking. The film became a defining moment for the MCU, expanded the importance of Wakanda within the universe, and established Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa as one of the most iconic heroes before his tragic passing in 2020.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So, Ike, when you are ready, what
Yes.
is the official synopsis?
So, for Black Panther 1, okay, the official synopsis is T'Challa, heir to the hidden but advanced kingdom of Wakanda, must step forward to lead his people into a new future and must confront a challenger from his country's past.
Hmm.
Yes.
All right. Well, I guess maybe we will just start. We'll dive right into this sucker, and we'll get all to the nitty gritty of anything. Is there anything about the any comments you want to make about the history part that I read, or anything
No,
that
it all
stuck out?
sounds about right. I mean, it's a very controversial movie in its own regard, I guess. I think that's where I disagree with this film.
Hmm.
I hope I don't get canceled tonight
Well,
because I do have some issues with
yeah.
this movie that are going to, I'm not going to say I have to lean into some political things to get my point across, but there is a little bit of, I'm going to say this right off the bat, is Republican or Democrat, I'm not going to get into that part of it. I don't like it when either thing gets pushed real hard. And I think there's an agenda in this film that I don't know if I don't buy. And it's because there's certain facts and certain things that I don't like it in the relation to what they want us to think about sometimes of a lot of the symbolism in this movie. And because it's so apparent that it's there, I have trouble that it's like, well, I don't know if I agree with your sentiment of that thing, but I'm trying to do my best to be like, well, let's say in this world it is that. So I try to see it in the MCU's eyes, and it's still some. And then the things that fall flat for me that don't work, we'll get to, aren't as political. So I could honestly say the agenda of the film, I definitely don't relate. Um, and there's a lot of people out there saying, well, you're not supposed to. And I'm saying, then why'd you make it for everybody? So that's kind of where we come in with that. But I'm going to try to lean as far away from that as I can and tell you the flaws I see in this that don't rely on just what you see. I don't want to be very specific because I don't want this podcast to be political at all. But when the movie forces me to have to explain why I feel like I don't connect, that's kind of where I'm at. And because of that, it's going to reveal it because I'm not going to lie to you and say that everything's cool and dandy. So I think we'll just go through it the best we can. I'll comb through I'm going to be as honest as I can, but I'm going to make it more about the movie itself and not the overwhelming the politics that come with it.
Mm-hmm.
But it does have a factor because it's so in your face sometimes.
Yeah.
The scenes are too much. And it's like, well, now wait a minute, and so, yeah.
So I think to start, I completely understand where you're coming from, and I hear your concerns about this. I'm going to start off with saying, guys, we are we were basically a Marvel podcast. We touched on DC comic books, and sometimes if something is happening in the entertainment industry that affects these things that we like, we'll touch upon it too. We are not a political podcast, but at the same time, when a Marvel film decides to have its own version of a political identity, and we have to review said film because it's a Marvel film, you will hear our opinion, whether we think it was appropriate, whether we thought it was in good taste, or whether they came across right or not. And this film, I understand where my brother is coming from with saying that. So, to us, it does not matter if you personally are liberal leaning or conservative leaning, Republican, Democrat, somewhere in the middle, or someone who doesn't care about politics whatsoever. This podcast is not about politics, but we are going to touch upon the politics in the movie that they are pushing onto us that we have to react to. And whether we agree, disagree, too much, not enough, that's up to interpretation. This is our opinion. That's why you're watching or listening to this podcast, which, by the way, if you're just listening to us, we have a YouTube version, so please check it out so you get a visual. If you're just watching us on YouTube and you want to catch the full thing, we're on every audio streaming platform. So I had to plug that in there at the same time, but I just wanted to make that clear that this film, much like, from my understanding, some of other Ryan Coogler films, and please correct me if I'm wrong, it does, he likes to touch upon political themes within the story that's being told. Am I correct in saying that? Because I've only seen a couple of his movies, but the ones I've watched have that in it.
So the difference with Ryan Coogler and, like, let's say someone that, like, the when they made Brave New World, okay? So Brave New World is another one that's kind of a politically agendized kind of film, but that's more of a political movie. That's that. I'd even say Captain America: Winter Soldier was more of a political movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this one in particular, and in Ryan Coogler's other work, he's a great filmmaker, though. I'm not going to take that away from him. They're fantastic looking movies. But there is a social political agenda that's underlined in a lot of them. And I think they've been very open about it, from what I understand. And because of that, though, there are times that it's hard to separate myself from the world that I live in and just getting into just to see what movie this is, like the world of the film, right? And I think that Ryan's a voice. He wants to be a voice that's heard. He doesn't want me to not be connected. Just so happens that I think that there's more nuance to some of what he's talking about, because I don't want to say he's wrong. And I don't want to say that it's not right what he's saying. I think there's some truth in it. But I think this movie in particular, I think it's very naive to paint it the way it's been painted in this film in particular. This is very hard to talk about without just getting into it. And I think we're going to get into it while we're talking about the movie, because there's lines in this movie that that go right with it. That how do we not talk about it? You're kind of setting us up. We're two white boys from New York talking about a movie that some people are going to put in our comments saying that we don't have the right to talk about. And that's a society that we live in right now. And this movie is one of those that fuels that. And I think that's wrong, and I don't like that. And I'm not saying this movie says that that's right. I think they agree that we got the right to talk about any of this stuff, but I do think that my opinions of some of the moments in this film, I think the social political agenda was more than this film being good to these people then I think that was more important. And because of that, that's what I see when I watch it. And so it's hard to not have an opinion about something I'm going to be told I'm not allowed to have an opinion for, but yet it's in a medium that everyone should enjoy. So I struggle. And it's not the only movie. There's plenty of other movies that are on the opposite end of this political situation that I would say the same thing about.
So
I don't think either side should be pushing what they think.
I agree. I agree with that. Yeah, we didn't.
I'd rather stick with the politics in the MCU, and not. And that's where X-Men succeeded, because X-Men were about mutants, and there's no mutants, so we all had the right to have an opinion. Now, yeah, mutants was in place of, whether it was sexuality or color or race, there was all the themage of it, right? Civil rights, right? But it was with mutants, so we can talk about it in a certain way. It was a fake world talking about real things. So this is a fake world, but this is with real people and talking about real things relating to those real people. It's not just about superheroes, you know? And I'm not saying it has to be just about superheroes. And I'm not saying he had to do it that way, but you did. And so when I see it, and there's some things that are said that are very broad, which is sometimes is very, I think it's more nuanced than that. And I think the movie actually does attempt to make you understand that it is nuanced, but then there's times where, you kind of feel like
Mm-hmm.
you feel like you're making a mistake of agreeing with that. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Well, I'm excited about for getting into this is I completely understand your concerns. And I remember when this movie came out, there was even, was it this movie or was it Wonder Woman? There was something where there was even something in the news that said that either a theater or a group of people or something were denied or denying people entry because they weren't of a certain skin color or ethnicity because they want, that was this movie. That stuff I'm separating personally from the film itself, because this film is art. And this is the art that is within a universe that we routinely consume. And I do think it has its place in the MCU. I think it has its place for Marvel at large. But we have a right, no matter what our political opinions are, social opinions are, or skin color, to talk about this. And so, and if there are anybody that goes into the comments, if there is anyone that goes into the comments and wants to say you don't have any right to say an opinion about this thing, you put it in our movie. We do have a right to this opinion, like you have the right to of an opinion on any of these other movies too. So whether we get to that point or not in this, because I actually feel like I have a little bit more of a difference of opinion with this film, and I hope as we go on that, yeah, it might have some political, social implications of the good, the bad, and the ugly of this film, but I hope I could, like, in our debate about certain scenes or certain characters or certain things, I can enlighten you as to my perspective, at least, on what I took away from this movie. And maybe you as an audience watching will get a different taste of this too.
I will be
And
honest.
vice versa.
In watching this, I don't dislike the movie as much as I saw it.
Mhm.
A lot of my dislike from this movie came from fans.
I just, that
And you know what? That was
yeah,
very hard to separate.
that is. And that's one of the things I feel like I was kind of going to save this until after we got through the movie itself, when we got into our deep dives of the movie, and the history did touch upon this. It kept referring to cultural significance, but I feel, and I hope I'm not tuning anyone off to this right now, and you're not going to watch our review, because I really do want you to see our review, listen to our review, all that stuff. But the things surrounding the movie when it was coming out, when it was being promoted, were overhyped. They were overblown.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't mean this is a bad movie. It just means that you are hyping it up to something as if this was some sort of once in a lifetime event or achievement of somebody, that in all reality, guys, it's just another movie. Like, they were hyping this up. Some people were hyping this up more than the Avengers movie that followed just a few months later.
Mhm.
And that is where culturally, socially, we have a problem with stuff like that, because yes, representation matters. And this is great that this is Marvel MCU's, I should say, first black solo superhero film. That's fantastic. I'm happy for it. I believe that this comics is made for everyone, so therefore it should have some representation for everyone. And I love that. I love that we got Shang-Chi later and it represented that part of culture and that region of the world and things like that. But when you overhype a certain culture as it's blowing it way out of proportion, it tends to cause a recoil of your casual fans or just your normal average MCU fans. That's like, okay, was it that good, really? Because honestly, what I want to point out to real quick, and I know we haven't gotten to the movie yet, but we're going to jump right into that in a moment. One of the things that was part of the history that I thought was actually very interesting was the reception. Critics were giving it a 96%. That's huge. That's big. That means critics, for majority of the report, overwhelmingly, except for that 4%, had high praise and enjoy it. And we saw that in the promotional material that was on billboards, that was on the ads, that was in the news, that was literally everywhere. The audience only gave it a 79%. Now, 79 is not some small number, not, oh, holy smokes, it really was a bad movie. I think that 79%, though, why it wasn't like 85 or wasn't 92 or something that you would expect to be a little more fair and balanced, because most of our Marvel movies, for the most part, have had maybe a 5-point difference between critics and audience, where this one is a much more significant point difference. What is it? Over just under 20 points, I think 18, 17 point difference, I think was because of the hype around it on what they did with it for the promotional wise. It was a great movie. Was it a cultural phenomenon? No, it wasn't. But they treated it like it was, and therefore to anyone who disagreed with them, that's when you got the online trolls, we would say, that would say, you don't have a right to disagree with us on this film. Actually, we do. You are being welcomed into our space as comic book lovers and MCU lovers and film lovers, not the other way around. So when you try to assimilate with us and trying to bridge a gap between what they're trying to say of the cultural implications or social implications of this film and this promotion versus what you've entered into, this arena, this genre, you have to be able to blend them together and not have this social political divide that they decided to make in doing this. With them blowing this film out of proportion to what it actually was, and it's a good film, but the problem with that is now how do I say this? You've made that become the story and not letting the film just be the story.
Yeah. And
if you didn't do that, you would have seen that 79% easily been a 92%.
Well, I'm 100% on board with everything you said. I think the only nuance to it I would add, if I could add anything to it, would be that also it was kind of gimmicky to make it come out as this cultural, like,
Mhm.
it is a big deal. It's the first very, first heavily led or
Majority led.
majority led, and
Yeah.
definitely first Black superhero in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yes.
I think it's great. I love it. I mean, actually, there's a lot of things about it I like because of that, to be honest with you.
Uh-huh.
I don't even think that that's really the problem that I'm even with.
Yeah.
It's not. For me, it's not. It is how it was sold. Doesn't help.
Yes.
And the problem is I feel like that I'm going to do my best to not let that be what I rate this movie with,
Mm-hmm.
even though it's very hard because it's just a bad taste in my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
But I will also say that I'm going to call out a lot of YouTubers and a lot of people in that are in our thing that do this. And what I'm going to say is, I think there's a lot of people out there afraid to say what we're saying right now because it sounds, that they could be construed to, oh, look at these racist guys saying this stuff. And that's what I feel like it's going to be turned into. And I mean, I don't thank God we're not quite big enough yet, but someday we will be. And this will probably be our most controversial video because I'm going to tell you, beneath all that hype of, go out there and support your first Black Marvel movie. And it turned into this really wild ride of whether, all of a sudden, if I think it's a bad movie, but I'm white, I got no say anymore. and that tends to be what's happened. So despite what culturally it means to you, and you know what, to some young Black kids in the country, it might mean a lot to them, and I do not want to take that from them, because it does mean a lot to them, because it is their first understanding of it. So, like, I take that very seriously, and I think that's a real thing, just like with Shang-Chi, just like with all of them that are like this. But what I will say, though, is I'm not going to let it blind me to flaws in your movie.
Yes.
So I'm going to do my best to tell you why there's things in it I don't like that aren't that, but then that on top of it definitely helped the feeling of it feeling worse, because it's like, wait a minute, if your movie was like pitch perfect, then it would be, okay, yeah, man, I just got to get over the message and be happy with this movie. But that's not my case. You know, I can get over your message enough, but to still be honest with you and say your movie's got some problems. And that's where I'm going to be coming from, the best I can.
Yeah, because at the end of the day,
It's about the movie.
yes, it's about the movie. It's not about the characters, the actors, their skin color, the cultural significance. That's not about that. You're trying to tell us a story through a movie, and if there are any flaws, we will point them out, in our opinion. And guys, we might get into a little bit of a debate on something where he would say this is a flaw, and I would say, let me tell you why I don't think so, or vice versa. And that's okay. That's what we do this on every podcast.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter the color of our skin as your host of the podcast. We should not have to feel afraid to talk about a Marvel movie because of the toxic hype that went around this movie. And that's the best way to say it. So, we're going to jump right in to this film.
Yeah, I think we're going to find that most of our differences are going to be taste. But we might have a couple fun discussions there. But when it does come down to taste, it's hard because it might just be something.
And I'm going to be completely honest with you. When it gets to some of those social political implications that they want you to take away from this movie, I might have a more nuanced approach to it than maybe you do, or maybe our audience does. And you're going to hear my point of view of it. Whether you like it or not, I don't care. This is a Marvel podcast. These are our opinions. You don't like it, find somebody else. And with all that love I'm going to give you, we're going to dive right in. And I will just start off with reading the first act and we'll break it down.
Sounds good.
All right. Act 1. The film opens with the history of Wakanda, followed by T'Challa's coronation as the new king. Or wait, actually, yes, it is. It's the fight. It's the ritual fight before his eventual coronation as a new king. This centers around a mission later on to Busan, South Korea, where T'Challa, Nakia, and Okoye attempt to apprehend the black market arms dealer Ulysses Claw, who is stealing vibranium. This act introduces also the mysterious accomplice, Claw's mysterious accomplice, Eric Killmonger. Okay, sorry, I kind of butchered that as I was reading it, guys. But anyways, so I will start off when it comes to the what worked part.
Sure.
With, I like this history explanation in the beginning. I thought the animation was really well done. I love that they gave a history, not specifically just of Wakanda, but of vibranium at large, because they've already introduced us the idea of vibranium since Age of Ultron, and we've been able to, I would say Age of Ultron played around with it a lot more, and then we finally were able to, that's what I loved about Black Panther's introduction as his whole corner of the MCU, is that slowly through different movies, you get a glimpse of something, whether it's vibranium, the mentioning of Wakanda, and then you get right to Civil War where you just are introduced to some of these characters. And now we're finally diving deep into this film and into this culture there that they have in Africa. And I think this is really cool. So I like that. I did like the opening sequence, that I liked how they filmed it. Meaning that when they stopped at the crucial moment where you're not sure what happened between the 1990s T'Challa, or I'm sorry, not T'Challa, I'm sorry, 1990s Black Panther and his brother there, you weren't exactly sure what happened. And I loved that throughout this movie, especially once you get to the end and you get closer to your climax and resolution, that's where you find out truly what was going on and what happened. I love storytelling like that because it leaves you guessing throughout the whole movie of, is this guy really right? Is this guy really right? Who did wrong here? Blah, blah, blah. And I love that realization when it comes to that at the end. So, is there anything you want to jump in there and say what you what you like. If stop me at any point if there's something
Yeah,
you want to
I'll
jump
throw you
into.
a couple things I really like. I agree with you about the animation in the beginning. It's real creative. I
Mhm.
think it's really cool. Um, the opening scene with the old Black Panther and what's
Mhm.
going on there. I agree with you. This setting up a kind of its own little mystery thing that we're going to unravel as we go is a good idea. Um, I do love the concept of like what do you call it? What would you like the ritual fights that they got to do?
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool. Part of me wasn't sure about that the first time I saw this movie. I'm kind of like, man, for a society that's like more advanced, it's pretty barbaric. But I'm like, but if they're really staying true to some roots and trying to be as pure as possible, I kind of like how they do it. And it's really
Yeah.
neat, excuse me. Um,
Yeah. I like actually I like what you just said there. I think that's what one of the things that did work for me too. I like that balance of honoring your ancestral roots
yeah,
while also being modern.
I think
You know
this
what I
movie
mean?
would serve better if it leaned on that more
Than the technological stuff.
than the political, the
Oh.
social commentary it's got. I think it should lean more on what it means to honor your ancestral, like,
Mm.
stuff. I know it does somewhat in this quite often, but I kind of wish that that was more of it's more of a descension than it is an ascension in that sense. And then sometimes that maybe that be where it loses me. Um, I think it as because I think our villain doesn't think of Wakanda. I know he's got obviously a chip on his shoulder with what's going on, but he doesn't really serve a purpose beyond the revenge of it, and his view of it is so different, and it's some of
Yep.
the stuff with Wakanda I'll talk about later that kinda bugs me about this situation
Well,
because it's a great setup for, like, what's to come, right? Like,
yep.
and I think it's awesome, but, like, it's almost like a misplaced anger
Mhm.
that I know technically that's what they want you to feel, but it just doesn't quite get sold to me enough. But that's a little more later than now. Because I do love the introduction of Killmonger is good, I
Yeah.
think. You know? I mean,
Well, I think since you already touched upon that, and this is his introduction, when you were talking about the social political implications of this, I don't think any of that is within Wakanda. That is all through the eyes of Killmonger. He introduces that to
oh, no,
Wakanda.
I agree. I
Like
agree.
like and I think then that's something that as we get into this deep dive of the whole movie and everything in each act, that's this is the part where I am personally going to say for the brilliance of this movie, in my opinion, is that this oppressive worldview is your villain of the movie. And whether people are taking it this way or not, there's a reason why they gave that worldview to Killmonger and not to T'Challa. You are seeing two different people from ideological differences in their background, from where they were raised, where they were brought up, what they were taught, and what they believe, come together. And ultimately, at the end, with Killmonger's death, that ideological part of him died with it
Yeah.
for T'Challa. Now, that doesn't mean, and we're going to get to that in Act 3, that T'Challa doesn't try to move forward in a more progressive way, but there is a clear distinction in this movie when it comes to the social political implications of people with brown skin and where they come from and what their cultures are like. The culture of brown people in America versus brown people in Africa are different. And this one, this movie, T'Challa honors his his people and his land, where Killmonger has nothing but resentment. And he feels like he was abandoned by a culture because, let's face it, when we get there about what happened in this early um part, we'll definitely talk about it. So there's a hint of validity, but there's not. I'm dancing around what I actually want to say because we're just in Act 1 and I don't want to just dive into every single bit of it in the first act. But
We can get there.
this is definitely just the introduction of Killmonger also introduces to us as the audience you have a viewpoint now that's completely different, and it's very obvious to me why they made him and that viewpoint the villain of the movie. And I know some people would go into the movie, and we hear this when they come out of the movie. Killmonger was one of the best villains, blah, blah, blah. Honestly, guys, they gave him the best treatment in this movie. They let him flesh out his view. They let him be menacing. They let all that social political implications of him bleed out and go on to others, whether they accept it or not. But at the end of the day, he did not survive this movie. And that, I feel like, is more of a meta storytelling of this type of ideology will not survive because there's nothing for it to feed on. You can't live in anger all the time and expect things to get better in that way. And I think that Killmonger is a great example of this for this film. So whether you agree with me or not, that literally is what this film is telling you. And we're going to get into every bit of when you see him and what his actions are and how he's trying to prove his point here or there, that why what I just said has more validity to it. So
I see where you're coming from. I do think for right now, I'm still convinced that where I think the movie, for the sake of not trying to say that this is right, they have it set that way to be that way, where yes, his ideological thing is the problem, is kind of the villain of this, and he's the conduit for it.
yes.
So that's why the failure of him ultimately is the failure of that ideology.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's 100% the meaning of the film.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they succeed without glorifying it, though, and I think that's a problem. So I think that's where when we get to that act, we'll probably get more into it. But I do think that I agree with you. It's just the question is to what means of getting to it, right? And I think that's where we'll talk about it, because I think that was the intention, really, ultimately. But let's do this other stuff though before we get to that, because that's going to be part of that whole act. So
okay. So all right. I'm sorry if I jumped into whatever you're saying worked for you or not.
Oh no, that was it. I'll quickly tell you what didn't work for me.
Okay.
Two things specifically.
Mhm.
It's in some of this is just taste as someone that writes and dabbles with it and listens and reads other people's stuff. Claw just kind of a whimsical, weird, why is he here thing, and I wish he didn't feel that way because I love the actor and I think the character is unique. Yeah, don't get me wrong, there's aspects of his character I like a lot more in this one than they did with Age of Ultron. But I just it's just a coincidence that it happens to be Wakanda's looking for him and the CIA is trying to set him up. And it happens to be on the same night to one of those ridiculous, obvious, and nonchalant arms dealers that how have you not found this man? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not convinced that it's like, we got him. Oh, but now it's a conflicting of interest. And now we're all I'm like, how convenient. And it rolled out the carpet for me. And the performance of Claw, as much as I like him, it just was so over. There's no nuance to him. I wish he was in the movie longer, and I wish we could have seen some cleverness out of him and not just this sparky, I'm a guy that does things and I'm cool. And he just really comes off as he's the most active, flamboyantly, like huge, like off the top dramatic arms dealer ever. And both the CIA and Wakanda happened this is our best time to get this guy. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It kind of bugs me. You know what I mean? Like, it just bugs me. And that's more of a taste thing because some people it works. It's not, is it real consequential? I guess not. But when I rate these films, all these Marvel movies, I look at how are they getting from point A to point B in their storytelling. And when you have little things like this that happen, it just makes me go, this isn't the only time it's a very convenient situation that happens in this movie. This is just one of the first. The other thing is that I struggle with T'Challa in this beginning part. I think I feel like he falls flat as a king at first. And I would have more preferred the feeling we got out of T'Challa out of Civil War than we do in this. Because I know in Civil War, he's doing a whole revenge journey, he finds out the truth, and it's a very smart man right there that's understanding what's going on. This T'Challa kind of feels I wish he was more confident and he's learning of a problem that was from the past. But his lack of confidence kind of bugs me in this. It really feels like it's like this new idea of being lost. As I get it. I get it. Honestly, the argument is real flat because you can just say, hey, he's first king. His father just got killed. Like, this is a lot to think. You're absolutely right. It's just boring. It's boring. This problem he has of how do I be a good king? What should I do? I don't know. It's like, I just feel like, okay, this is like, if we're sitting down and say, right, Black Panther, we're going to do a kingdom and he's going to do this stuff, what can we put him through? This feels like something a 12-year-old would be like, well, maybe he's just not that confident yet. And it's like, what are we talking about here? Like, we can get a little more sophisticated and a little more hard hitting on these films. It just would come off real boring to me. I just not buying his path because I'm not really invested in his path. Even though it does make sense for him to be in that position and feeling the way he does. But Chadwick, for some reason, these people or the writers decided, I'm not going to say Chadwick because I think he actually is going to be the best performer of it. But for some reason, they have him playing this up, I think a little too far into the weakness of what it would be when this situation has arose. When I liked the idea that he could have shown that confidence, even if the weakness was hidden behind. And I didn't feel that out of him in the beginning. I'm not saying it
So,
doesn't manifest,
uh,
but it really does make me kind of go, this is just boring. This whole, and it kind of bleeds into Act Two. This whole I'm the king, someone challenges me, I lose, he takes over, I get saved by enemies, I come back and I take back over and they lose. It's a very boring movie. Like, this is a very boring
mm,
story. And now not saying everything in it is boring, but it is kind of like okay. It's a little obvious, which is maybe it has to be. But for my taste, you talk about an MCU that we just got done taking huge swings. We're going taking chances. We got talking raccoons. Like, this movie was a bring back to reality, but maybe a little too far back.
so what parts did you interpret him as not being confident?
I think it's the feel of just him just discussing things with, especially with Sherry, like just, and then when he goes and talks with his dad, like trying to get the whole, what should I do as king and all that. And
Mhm.
I don't know. I really felt, I don't know. I just feel like there was a regalness about him when we first met him in Civil War that I don't feel here. And maybe it's because we're in Wakanda now. Maybe that's what it is. And it's my problem and not the movie's problem. All I know is I think it's more just the storyline itself, because he really is kind of questioning, he's really trying to figure out how to be the right kind of king, right? That's his big deal in this whole thing, ultimately.
From what I get, for me, I didn't see any of the um not confidence stuff. I Yes, he is trying to find his footing as a king. What he does, he's used to being a little more of a tactical type role as the prince
I
because he
understand.
is the Black Panther. His
Yeah.
dad couldn't be the Black Panther. He is the king, yada 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 type thing. Um, the honoring tradition by doing the combat ritual,
Right.
and then that is supposed to prove he is the ultimate guy that's supposed to be king. Blah blah blah.
Hmm.
Um, I never saw him not espouse that confidence
Hmm.
when he walked around. He was talking with Nakia and he had his soldiers around him. He actually seemed more relaxed in this film than he did in Civil War. But of course, all you saw him in Civil War is he lost his dad and he's just mad most of the time, and we get it.
Yeah.
Like, valid, we understand. But at the same time, I think one of the things that this film does, and we're gonna get into that when we get into the third act mostly, is, dare I say it right now? Maybe I shouldn't say that for the third act.
No.
I'm gonna say it for the third act, but what I'm gonna
Yeah.
say is I didn't see that lack of confidence. Personally, myself, I see him as a little more ambitious of a young king, and he's trying to live up to ideals that he feels his father had.
I agree.
And then in the third act, you see how that crumbles.
I agree. I think this is where the taste part of it comes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little bored with it.
Hmm.
So it's not. That's why I said I'm more.
Mm.
I'm not gonna. I don't want to take points off of it for this reason.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take a point, somewhat of a point, a little bit of a point, somewhat of a point about the claw stuff because I do think it's underutilized.
Okay,
and I do think
I can see that.
he needed to do something better there. I don't like movies that use convenience that much. This much. This is only once so far, but trust me, I got a few other ones. The convenience of a few things really bugs me, but I just am not invested in him right off the bat. And I really wanted to be. And I just kind of wish this movie took a little more chances on, like, maybe on when it was being told and the pacing of what's happening,
Mm-hmm.
But once again, like I said, I don't want to. Because I can't give you a specific moment off the top of my head right now where he alludes to a certain weakness that shows, but it's just there's something about him that just doesn't feel. I kind of wish we had a T'Challa that was a more in touch with the reality of he's more confident about serving that purpose from his ancestors. Because I would have liked the revelation of the stuff that was being hidden later to have more weight of a surprise to him than of a discovery. Does that make sense? I would have liked him to be overconfident from the start and be humbled to realizing it rather than him slowly coming into it. Because he's got many moments in this movie where he kind of his emotions take over, and then the times where his emotions would take over, it doesn't. It feels very inconsistent with me sometimes,
Mm.
and it feels inconsistent with even with the introduction of him in Civil War. Because sure, he was emotional. He was going to kill Bucky. Once he got all the information, though, he could do what Iron Man couldn't, which is see the difference between controlled Bucky and non-controlled Bucky. And that's because there's a smartness about him. There's something about him that is different. I'm not saying he's lacking this in this. He's got it.
Mm-hmm.
But I would have liked to seen. I kind of would have rather him be a little more of a cockier king and more. Hey, I got this. Yeah, I'll go talk to my dad about, maybe talking to him about, is this the right thing to do? Maybe, but that's kind of what that discussion was. But I would have rather seen the confidence in him get tore down a little to be humble, to become a better king than him. He's almost too perfect. Look how humble he is. He's being slow. He's taking his time. He's figuring it out. He's still being a king. He's still doing, but then he finds out the dark secrets. And like, it just is kind of, I don't know. I wanted to see more of a journey out of the spectacle of what it is to be a king in Wakanda. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And I got problems with Wakanda later. Like, in general, the people there, for a place that's so proud about hiding and doing the best that they can, never mind. We'll talk about when we get to that. To me, it's like no one's gonna be like, listen. Anyway, hold on. We'll get to it. I'm sorry, but anyways. So yeah, that my biggest issue that I am gonna hang my hat on though is the claw thing. Was just is a guy. You guys didn't find this dude. Like, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying the situation. I do love the casino fight though. It's awesome.
Yeah.
This is some of the best choreography in the MCU.
Is that my standout moment? Maybe.
It's mine.
Yeah, I put both. I put the ritual combat scene and the South Korea mission.
Yeah,
To me, are my
awesome.
standout moments.
Awesome.
Yeah, but yeah,
Love the action.
well, in particular,
Chase and everything.
I was gonna say the the South Korea mission. Where is that? Okay, there it is. Let me make sure I'm saying it right. Oh, I wrote down my funniest moment on this part too. Anyways, sorry guys, I'm going through my notes here that I made. The standout moment for the South Korea mission for me was the car chase scene. Everything inside the Korea thing, it was cool. But to me, it was just a cool action sequence. It wasn't.
I like watching what these women can do with them staff.
Yeah,
Holy Lord!
I love the one that was just on her screen when what I love about the car chase scene in particular is they're using their technology as an advancement. And even this one part where she says guns so primitive, it's because they're shooting a vibranium car that is just it literally just looks like sparks are flying off it, which is kind of cool. But I love how she gets on top of the car and she's like aiming her spear and she throws it goes through the car, and it was not meant to the spear going through the car was not meant to stop it. It was where it landed that was meant to stop it. That stuff is genius. That is really well written, and as we see for the CGI and everything for this, well performed and well filmed. Everything about the car sequences is probably, I would dare say, this is if I can't say it's my favorite car sequence, but it's almost on par with what we saw in Civil War car sequence. That I loved that car sequence fight. But this one, I feel like because it was isolated to just Black Panther, and they used every bit of his technology, his suit, the female warrior's staff, and what Shuri's able to do, remote control the car type thing, is really well done, and it highlighted every character, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree. This is excellent filmmaking right here. They do a great job with this stuff. Some of the stunts are good. The CGI gets a little shoddy for me, but I can ignore that with what it's given. But I will tell you, whatever Claw's weapon does is freaking amazing looking. It's definitely maybe top 3 car sequences in the MCU. You still haven't beat Nick Fury's in Winter Soldier for me yet.
I agree. That's right. That is
like, that's just,
wow.
Pulls a gun up out of the middle of the
like, that was so good.
And it's so good. So there's a long way to go to hit that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, this is great though.
But this is definitely, like you said, within the top 3 minimum. Yeah, it's high. Yeah. And you could tell by the thought they put into this every moment of it. And yeah, his hand, how it does that, it's a compliment to the comic version of him who actually does lose his hand, and he just, in the comic though, he just has this weird Sonic looking thing. It's no hand at all. It's just doing that.
Made a better choice.
Yes. Yeah. But this, I loved how it's basically a regular hand that turns into that. That's cool.
And I like the usage of the suit with the energy blast and all that.
Yeah,
I like that this is a new thing.
Yeah, this is the first time I didn't realize this was the nanotechnology we see in the MCU. Before Iron Man's nanotechnology, we saw this one.
Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyways, so yeah, that one. And I'm going to back up for a little bit, and my other standout moment, the ritual combat thing. I do like that scene. I liked where they used the technology to make that spot in the waterfall. So I thought that was pretty cool looking. I loved seeing the different tribes, and they're represented by different colors. And some of them that one guy with that big thing in his lips.
Yeah, what's going
ouch.
on? Yeah.
Like,
calm down. Right?
You know what?
It's a cultural thing.
I know it's a cultural thing, but hey, come on, we could comment on that stuff. You comment on ours. Yeah. That I literally wrote on one of my things. Come on, man.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, why? But why? Anyways, so the
specific thing. Soup. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like this. There's things that you're not doing.
Yeah, straw. He has to eat everything through a straw, and now that's by choice. Like, yikes, dude. Anyways, but I will say, at least there are people actually in Africa that do look like that. Yeah. So it is very, very culturally appropriate, accurate, I should say. So congratulations. But still, just for us that aren't used to that or aren't accustomed to that, ouch, just looking at it hurts.
I agree.
That's it. That's it. It's not being mean.
Like it's my lips on my face.
Yes. Yeah. This is not being mean. This is just saying that's not for us. Yeah. So, I did love the representation of the different colors and all that stuff. And I love Shuri's line when they're like, does anyone from the royal blood want to challenge him? And And she says, "This corset is really tight, so can we all go home now?"
Yeah.
I'm like, that's hilarious. I love Shiri in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like amazing. She's just really cool. I love her whole thing. I called them sneakers. Like, I can't do a Wakandan accent to save my life, and I'm not gonna attempt it really because it'll be bad.
The movie can either.
Yeah,
I think they're all kind of just like, it's gonna try.
Yes,
like,
it's very distinct. Like I feel like T'Challa is the one that really nails it, but all the rest of them, it's kind of like it's a mixture. Yeah. And I think that's actually appropriate to what our history said about it. Is that they just try to do a mixture of different cultures, so they just try to do a mixture of different accents, and that's what they came up with the Wakandan accent.
Yeah, we meet M'Baku here, right? And
yes, we do.
He comes off as like a villain from a different movie, right? Like,
yeah.
I like M'Baku.
Yeah, when his what the Jabari tribe, that's what they are. They were and they're all walking out. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on here?
Very
and
intimidating.
I do like his speaking. I'm trying to remember one or two of the lines of how it's just how he delivers them. Your own father, and I'm like, it's father, okay, but whatever. It's just really cool and very creative, I would say. But it definitely is something that sticks out to me. Like, oh, okay. But I liked that scene of them fighting and him showing that he has to prove himself without the Black Panther powers, which is that's probably the one thing I will say I really do have a little bit of a issue with the movie is the what juice is that gets rid of the Black Panther power? Is it the same thing as what gives it to him?
I don't know.
Is it one of those things of they either give it to you or take it away by the same heart-shaped herb?
Though, isn't it?
It looks just like the heart-shaped herb juice because it's this purple stuff he drinks, but like, I don't know. Yeah. That's the part that's never explained because I feel like that's something they could have used towards the end of depowering Killmonger a little bit, but I don't know.
And it's kind of like with this juice stuff, it's like, so there's Black Panther is awesome and he's one of the coolest, superheroes in the group. He's got one real bad weakness.
Yeah.
It's like
purple juice.
He'd spike his drink, man. And,
yeah. Yes. Literally.
Like, it's like,
that's one of the biggest parts I feel of the whole movie, and I'm only going to touch upon Act 1. They don't. They never.
By the way, this makes you weak. Here you go. No one's like safe somewhere.
We have to. I have to just draw conclusions of what that stuff actually is because they don't explain. They explain really well what gives the Black Panther powers, the heart-shaped herb. They're doing the whole thing. They're drinking it, covering them, all that stuff. Cool. I love it. But to get rid of the powers, they never explain what that process is.
There's a villain out there that's coming up with a blow dart version of this. And he's just like, oh, I can't do it no more. It's like, it's over. It's like, dude, what are we talking about here? Yeah, I'm not
right. That's the only thing. And what's funny is I don't recall in Wakanda Forever, and we're gonna get to there when we get there, so I can have it more fresher in my brain. I'll try to remember this for then. I don't recall that happening. I don't recall either. I don't even recall the retro combat in that one for Shiri taking over.
I don't either. There is though, isn't there?
I feel like there is. There should be.
Does she take over as queen? No.
Yes.
She does.
It's the end of it where she relinquishes queen, but because her mom's been queen the whole time, and she just takes over the power, and that's one of her frustrations. Is that I buried my husband and I buried my son, and I have to be the one stable person in this nation, and all of a sudden she dies. And so Shuri is. That's the point of the whole movie. Is there's really no Black Panther, no taking over. Then Shuri, the princess, just automatically becomes Black Panther and queen. There's no ritual combat thing.
See, I always assumed you don't have to be king and Black Panther.
No, you don't. You don't.
Right, because when we met T'Challa, he was already Black Panther.
Yep, and T'Chaka was still king.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So she could have been Black Panther, not queen. But I think you're right. I think she was. Yeah, you're right.
I think she was until the end of the movie when she made M'Baku the king.
Yeah.
And so he's king, and she's still princess / Black Panther. So okay, we'll find out more in Doomsday. Yeah. That's not this movie.
Yeah, this one right now, the juice. Don't drink it.
Yeah. Well, that's the
I
thing.
wouldn't trust another drink in my life if I was these guys. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't know.
It's like
So that's my only thing I would say that didn't work for me is they never explained what that juice is, and I feel like in doing that could be technically considered later on the wasted potential of this film.
To me, it's a
of
big
missed
plot
opportunity.
hole just to have an awesome scene.
Yeah.
And that bugs me. It's once again, it's at the behest of the narrative, we're gonna be cool.
Yeah.
And Claw was fun and cool, but how do you not find that, man?
And I like
the juice is like there and unexplained, and it's depowering,
Mhm.
and no one's gonna talk about it again, and we're just gonna pretend it didn't happen.
That's the thing.
To get an awesome scene.
I like that scene. I think it's like you just said, it's an awesome scene.
Right.
I like even the method that he has to depower in order to really prove it's just him that can prove to be king without the need of the Black Panther crux. I love that.
Yep.
The problem is you've introduced us to this substance that does that, and you never flush it out. And that becomes a glaring problem throughout later on in the movie when he does the same thing with Killmonger. He has to take that out of him and all that stuff and whatever. Like that
to me, it's like showing a green rock makes Superman
that's like
have no power and be weak, but then never talking about the rock.
Yeah.
Like, by the way, what was that? Oh, it's just,
that's the hole in this poster, in this film's poster, basically, is what is that? Anyways.
Yeah.
So do we want to score Act 1?
Yeah.
All right. What would you give it?
I give it a good solid 7 out of 10.
Okay. All right. Higher than I thought. I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah. A lot of good stuff.
Yeah. There's a lot of good stuff. There is. Yeah, there is. I don't know. I'll have other comments for it.
Stuff add up faster on me. But
we'll see when we get there. All right. Why don't you read Act 2?
So Act 2. Killmonger kills Claw, brings his body to Wakanda and reveals he is T'Challa's cousin. Oh boy. By right of blood, he challenges T'Challa for the throne. Killmonger defeats T'Challa in ritual combat, claims a crown, and sets out to distribute Wakandan weapons to oppress people globally. T'Challa is presumed dead after being thrown off a cliff, but survives.
Yeah. In my notes, I purposely crossed off the and I should have done it for years when I was doing this form of the survive part, because I thought, all right, I probably shouldn't spoil that at that point, because this really is.
Yeah, but nobody in the world thought he died.
I was just gonna say, I agree. Yeah,
they weren't
right.
just gonna kill this guy. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
To me, that's boring. This has Lion King vibes.
It does have Lion King. You know what? But I like that more now.
I don't. For that reason.
Because
kind of like Lion King.
Lion King, Africa, Wakanda, Africa.
Thinking you're dead. I
like it.
Don't like it.
This is
done
Marvel.
7 times.
This is Marvel's Lion King.
Yeah,
well, that's part of their
in the same
rich culture.
As Disney.
Yeah.
They're just like, Disney, can we borrow Lion King for a while? Sure.
Yeah.
Boo. Boo.
All taste, guys. So, what worked for me? Well, I will say this act in particular is where the soap opera seriousness and drama comes into play for the most part. For some people, you could say that Killmonger killing Shaw, which actually Claw. Sorry. I was thinking of Sebastian Shaw. Killmonger killing Claw, some people would say was a surprise to them. It wasn't to me, because
this has been going on in MCU for a while.
Well, yeah. Well, not only that, I saw early on with some of Killmonger's behavior and what his ultimate goal was to, once he said, "I want to get to Wakanda," I immediately knew, oh, you're killing Claw. I immediately knew that, because to me, him going to and then killing him, and even Killmonger killing his girlfriend there, that was not a surprise to me, because at that moment you saw the dedication of Killmonger saying, "I'm going to Wakanda no matter what anyone says," and I was able to see Wakanda is trying to go after Claw. They want him dead or alive in Wakanda, and T'Challa was not able to do it. So it was easy for me to see, oh, I know what's going to happen next. He's going to kill Claw. That's going to be his way to enter Wakanda, and that's what they did. And so part of me is like, I get it for the storytelling purpose and progression in the story, but me being able to decipher that so early on for this act in particular, I'm like, ooh, does that mean I'm going to predict the whole rest of the movie?
Yes, it
And
does. Sorry, I'm sorry, but that's yes, it does.
well, for me, the ending when we get there, I did not see it coming, and I'm happy for it. But anyways,
I will say
yeah.
they make some good attempts, but it's still
Yeah. That's
really.
that honestly is the one part of this whole act I say for me personally that I put under the doesn't work is that
Okay.
they took away from me the element of
So
surprise.
far, we got the juice and the element of surprise by doing that.
Yes.
I like that. I
Yeah.
like that. Good.
Yep. See, I do
Bringing you
have
slowly to the dark side.
I do
No, I'm
have
kidding.
I do have some qualms like
yeah.
we just said about this movie, but overall, I don't think that took away from the story that I like they're telling though. That's me. Anyways, what else did I put for what I liked?
His introduction is the museum, though, right?
Yes,
Okay.
in the first act, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't touch on that. I'm just gonna say real quick.
Okay, yeah.
I do like his introduction, though.
Yes.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Because it isn't just killing. I mean,
Mhm.
there's some, but like it's not. You know what I mean? I do like that he seems like a put together person.
Yep.
You can tell this is a smart villain. He's not
Yes.
a dumb guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he leaves the killing the claw.
Yeah.
He just is there to point out the vibranium.
Yeah, and I will tell you the claw thing is kind of I mean, not only that, but it also proves that they really had no intentions of doing anything with that character either, other than putting him in this movie and in the connection to the vibranium and Wakanda, which is to me kind of bugs me because it makes it even more like, yeah, what a plot device, and that's all that character was, and I just didn't like that. And I guess you could argue everything has that, right? But you can be done better than that from in my opinion. But that's just me. So
Yeah.
I Remen agrees with this claw thing. Took a lot of surprise out of stuff, but then once again, I'm not surprised. Bad guys killing other bad guys. Oh yeah, do it all the time. Do it
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah. Now, and for this bad guy in particular, I feel like you saw his drive and motivation so early on that it made some of his future actions very predictable.
Yeah, yeah. Agreed. And did he need Claw to find Wakanda, or he just used
No.
it to make it like he looked like he
Uh,
see, I get shit done, right? Is basically what he did it for. He didn't need Claw to find Wakanda, right?
I
Am
don't
I mistaken on that?
let me think about that for a moment because no, I don't think so.
He just used the Claw as the way to show that
He did. Yep.
he can
And
get stuff
actually, we
done.
have it in the back of our screen right now, guys.
But
He
it wasn't that Claw showing him how to get there. Right?
no, I think he always knew how to get to Wakanda
Because I got questions.
because actually there's that scene, I don't think it's in this one, maybe it's in the last act, honestly, that he reads his father's stuff, so he knows all about Wakanda. He probably knows where it's located and its cloaking device and all that different stuff.
He knows a lot about Wakanda for someone that's not his bad guy.
Yes, and I think that's revealed in that dream sequence of him seeing his dad again.
Because
Yeah, it is.
I don't care for the feeling of even then. Is it that detailed? Because it seems like he walks in like he's owned the place for a while.
Those notes that notebook looked pretty thick and detailed on his times in Wakanda.
I just don't feel like they sold it to me.
To me, that didn't bother me because I understood that and he explains it in his ritual in the third act. I'm sorry we're jumping along to that.
Yeah.
But
Well, it all relates. So
yeah, he does. He explains in actually no, this isn't this act. I'm sorry. This isn't this act when he's challenging T'Challa and they do the ritual combat. So
yeah,
I'm on the right page here. He explains to him that he's waited his whole life to do this. He's prepared the thousands of people he's killed, trying to better himself, so he's ready to take on the king of Wakanda.
So I always assumed that was him becoming a warrior, but I didn't think he knew where all these rooms were. He knew what everything that was doing. I feel like there's a lot of things he knows about that I don't. They kind of just glossed over. Like he's just. But I can chalk that up to maybe that was in that book.
Yep, because
it just kind of feels
when he's doing that dream. Yeah, he's doing that dream sequence, that little thing.
the book thing just kind of feels it's convenient.
He immediately
His dad wrote down the code to the chair to make it more comfortable. I mean, I'm not saying it happens in the movie, but he's so like lived in already it's like Wakanda's nothing there that makes him feel out of place or that is a challenge to him, and it really makes me kind of go, it's like he's been there many times.
Well, in his head,
Maybe he was.
in his head he has, because when he knows exactly when he goes into that dream sequence as a kid, he knows where the books are hidden. He takes the thing off. He opens up the panel of their kitchen area there, whatever, in the apartment. He starts reading and looking through the books, and that's when his deceased father in his vision comes to him and says, "What have I told you about going through my books?" And he's explained here in this act that ever since he was a child, he's been told stories of Wakanda. He's been wanting to do nothing but, he has hatred in his heart for what happened to his father, and he doesn't want to go to Wakanda until he can make a change.
All
and
right, I
that's
can dismiss it then. It
yeah.
just, it was the first thing that stuck out to me. It's like, being pretty comfortable for someone that's not been here before.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, no.
It's kind of like if we took a book of the White House and we're just reading it every bit, from the crown molding to everything and where they go and the map and all that. And then we finally go like 2 or 3 years later and we get the tour. Be like, oh, take the hall down to the left, to the right. There's the best bathroom in the world.
Yeah.
Something like that. To me, that's how I would equate it.
Yeah.
So anyways, because his dad was not just any old Wakandan. His dad was
correct.
royal
The brother,
bloodline.
yeah.
That's why, yeah. So he would know all the intimate
So I
parts
can let that
of
go
it.
a bit.
Yeah. All right.
I can let that go.
Yeah, this is the same act that explains who the Killmonger is, and that they all say, it actually, it's literally right on our screen right now, guys. It's so funny because I'm reading in my notes. I'm like, yeah, this is true. So they're saying that he's that Killmonger is Wakandan, and then that's when Ross there says, no, he's one of ours. Because Ross knows his whole actual background. He explains how this is a very smart guy, graduated MIT, then joined the American Navy SEALs, and he was one of those rare people that was sculpted and made to help them topple governments, which is actually touching upon some very real things that within our own country we have CIA members that know of this stuff type thing, like conspiracy theory or not, but that's definitely they're using that as who Killmonger is in this film, that he's one of those guys they would send in to do those dirty things, whether it's through an election time or a king passing away, which is probably why, actually, that makes more sense why he's doing it now, is because they have a new king. Wow. Okay. That makes more sense. All right. I'm sorry, guys. I had a little bit of a light bulb going in my head, be like, oh, yeah, that's right. That's why he's waited till now.
I think we look at that in two different ways.
Okay.
Where you see a positive light bulb, I see no, I don't like it. It's
he's waiting for new, fresh, naive blood to go in, and it's his cousin.
I guess. But what about the rest of the Wakandans? How many people does he take in there with him when he does this whole thing? He takes this place over, brings Claw in, makes a big deal. I'm your cousin, blah, 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 boo, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He gets in there, he does his thing, does the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Well, who's his crew? Has he got an army with him?
Well,
we both watched this movie. I don't see that, right? How many people has he got?
So he's got
a handful of mercenary guys, and he's got this traitor ass.
Yeah, that's true. Traitor is right.
That's pretty much all these guys. This traitor ass with his clan, who M'Baku could beat by himself, right? Yeah. Let's be honest. All of them look like weak little bitches. You know what I'm saying?
M'Baku doesn't care about the rest of the tribes because of historical separation of all their tribes. Anyways, yes, I agree with you there. And yes, he is this traitor ass. Is the best way to describe him. But see, that's one of the problems with not the film, but with, I don't want to say this to sound bad, so please do not hate me for saying this, but you gotta point out the obvious. This part of their royal culture of who takes succession is too simple.
Yeah.
And too loopholey is the best way to say it.
Well, I think
because he was able to single-handedly go in there, his peace offering, so he gets some friends there with traitor ass, is
Who's dumb enough to take his bullshit.
But I actually understand where he comes from, because he says the Claw killed my parents, and now this guy actually does something the two kings at this point couldn't do. I agree. Not saying it's right, but I see his point of view. Like, okay, I'm gonna follow this guy because he gets shit done.
Yeah, what a friend.
Yeah, bad friend, but at the same time,
T'Challa's best friend.
He's yeah, that's true. That is
just
true.
Talking about an agreement with another guy. Gotcha, but this is like my bestie. Like, you're not questioning this at all. If he knew how he got Claw, he'd be like, wait a minute, you're a bitch ass too.
I agree.
Because he killed Claw in a very bitch ass way. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
But that's
beside the point. For
it just shows the shittiness of the guy, right?
Yeah.
Of the friend.
It does. Yeah, it does. How much of a friend. Yeah.
It shows how bad of a friend that guy is.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that for funsies. That's not a problem with the movie, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
It's just a funsies way to look at it. Because
it's
like, this dude, what a friend.
But
you know what I'm saying? Like,
what I was
a guy that needs a punch in the face.
Anyways, yes. What I was saying right before, I liked his name, Trader Ass. That's a good name. Anyways.
It's his new name now.
Great actor. Love you.
Actually,
character.
Ooh. Movie, but
okay. Yep. I get it. I understand actually. Yeah. But anyways,
not
the what I was saying, the cultural weakness of this royal family of how to become king.
Yes. That's my issue with this whole
that part. They see, of course, Killmonger knows all this. That's why he feels confident enough to single-handedly go over there and do this.
Wakanda.
Yes.
That's my problem with it, where it's like, sure, you're of bloodline. You've kind of proven it. You did just kind of show up and say it, which maybe we should wait for the blood test. But, but let's just skip it and get to the big stuff, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to skip all this stuff to prove that because sounds to me, any black guy could walk in there and say what he just said, and they're going to be like, shit, what do we do? It's like I would have liked to see a little more proof being done of this, just more than his knowledge. But it's okay. It's convenient, and he's here doing. They drink their juice and become stupid. Like, I still don't get it. I don't like it. I don't like the way he does it there either. It's a very awkward scene between him and his shaman guy. But there could have been a better placement of things. I'm not happy with the way they're bouncing. It's weird. So like, there's some things going on that bug me. I mean, I love this whole scene, though, by the way.
Some of their movements, I gotta say.
The wrong moment. It's weird, guys, when it's silent. Like, when it's on and we can listen to it, it's normal. But when there's moments of looking over and it's silent and people are doing some things, they're like, what are we watching again?
I do love some of their moments. Are like,
yeah. But in the silence, it's awkward. So,
anyways.
So he comes in, claims he's blood. They don't really prove it.
Yep.
But he goes for it anyways. It works. Takes his shirt off, has all these cool, whatever the hell.
Scars.
Yeah.
It's supposed to represent every kill he's done.
Yeah, it just looks like he's got bumpy skin. And
he needs therapy.
Yeah, it's like someone needs to call a dermatologist. Because Killmonger is spinning the sun too much. But anyway.
He's got the cancer.
Which is this is a great fight. It's a little brief, but it's a great fight. At what point, though, as Wakandan people, do they need to sit back and say, this guy kind of is if they're so hardcore and picky about their traditions that this guy can get away with doing this because this is a tradition, then why is it when he's breaking their traditions, they just act like they're an oppressed city all of a sudden with a guy and a handful of military dudes? They got an entire city and army and other people that can be like, you know what, dude? No.
I could defend that.
This is a problem.
They're so comfy and conditioned in their little isolation Wakanda bubble that they just blindly go along with whatever the king is saying.
All of them, though. All of them.
Well, see, that's one of the driving forces behind this is that they split.
I only buy that if they weren't such a suitable army in Infinity War.
Yeah, well,
bullshit. The people of Wakanda that just live there, like you and I, everyday people, sure. But there's an army of people that not one of them was like, hey, guys, by the way, he's burning the leaves of something that we hold dear to us. And we're just like, but he's king because he beat him in a competition. No one even checked to see if he's blood. For an advanced civilization, I understand the people being weak, but you can't tell me they don't got an army that kicks a lot of ass, because they do. And other tribes. None of them are like, well, this is not good.
Well, one thing that I notice is when you get to that end battle, should we just...
He clearly does things, though,
Yeah.
that bug me, that nobody stands up. Like, nobody's like, oh, wait a minute. This isn't right. This is not what we do. You might be king, but it's pretty sketchy circumstances. Even if it's at the head. Now, if he walked in with an army, I'd be like, okay, look, he just murders this other guy. Like, in this, he murders this guy.
Yep.
Like, it's like, you're so tradition that you're going to allow someone to piss all over your tradition, and they're not going to be like, we're not letting this fly. It's got to be him coming back like the Lion King to save everybody. Where is everyone that would have been like, no way?
Because they don't know how to go outside of their traditional norms.
Nah, that's bullcrap. I think that's an excuse, and I think it's lazy. I think it's lazy writing. You're just gonna have all these look, even we have to.
Yeah,
That's never happened before.
That one Dora Milaje
Yeah.
say, isn't there something that can be done? And Okoye's just like,
Yeah.
like
That's never happened before. No one's ever done that. But no one's gonna say maybe that's a problem. Oh, by the way, now he's gonna burn all the stuff that makes you powerful, or the thing that is this flower they got that's whatever that is. I can't remember the name of whatever they call it.
the heart-shaped herb.
Thank you. He's just gonna burn it all. And
But-
then later tells them, by the way, give all your weapons to a bunch of people out there that are oppressed. And they're all just like, well, we have to. He did win in combat.
They're so...
Who took the blood test? Oh, I didn't. Oh, he could just be some guy from the street. Yeah, it's just like, for a society or for a city that's hidden from the world, that are purposely hidden from the world, and so far advanced, to have such a barbaric way to become king, and it just be this easy. Why is it now?
I don't know if this is explained or not in the movie, but is every Wakandan with that thing, or is that just a royal bloodline? Because they asked to prove that you're Wakandan.
Maybe.
And he does that, and they're all like,
cool.
He must be.
All right, fine. So he puts a tattoo on his lip from the books that he read. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I
don't know how all that works.
Someone could have told him that. I'm with you. Let's say that he proves his bloodline through the tattoo. Fine, whatever. Still, you're still not going to be like, but look what you're doing to the throne.
So,
there's not one faction of people out there trying to stop his ass.
Well, that's one thing.
Need Simba to come back and do this.
In the third act, you only see one tribe working with him. You don't see any of the other tribes.
They might not be working with him, but they can. Come on.
Well,
I think you know what I'm trying to get at. I know what you're saying. Okay, yes, they see one tribe, which is bitch ass's tribe, right?
Traitor
ass. Yeah. But you telling me the others weren't like? There's not half of these people who swore to protect the king. Okay, yeah, he become king, but then it's like, there's not some elder group. Oh, there is, but he just killed him in front of everybody. You see what I'm saying? The people that would tell them that this is wrong is what we're doing, they're watching him do it, and they're just like, okay. It's like it's like us getting a president. Don't freak out online, because you're all gonna think I'm talking about somebody specific. I'm not. But it's like us getting a president and just deciding, you know what, I'm going to rewrite the Constitution. And we're just like, damn, too bad we can't do nothing about it because he's the president.
Yeah. Oh, wait, there's checks and balances. We can. They don't have checks and balances. This is how bad their cultural norms and their royal family structure is.
That's why I don't believe Wakanda.
Yeah.
It bothers me. You've been so successful about being hidden, but you're this close all the time to complete catastrophe with just one guy that claims to be you. I mean, he's right. He is them. Okay, fine. I'm not going to, I won't dispute. That's just stupid that they'll look further than a mark on his lip because someone could have lied to him, right? But to allow him to do it because is all the answer is. Bothers me. Like, let him do it. Let him throw it off the waterfall and get that far. I would even say get as far as like, what are we supposed to do? This guy's obviously crazy. But the minute that he burns that stuff, at what point is he now changing what you even believe as a person that's there? The thing that you're honoring, but you promised to protect the king, part of a culture that is so deep and rich in you, part of that is this flower, and he's just burning it. And then it's like, look, we stay out of the world, but now this guy wants to inject us into it. Not only inject us into it, but literally give weapons to people on streets of cities to declare war against people. And some of these people aren't really depressed because or oppressed, because not all of that's true. That's the nuance of it that's a problem, which is why it's all bullshit.
Yep.
But here it is doing that, and they're just going to go with it because of the waterfall fight. That doesn't bother you at all as a plot device? It bothers the hell out of me, man. Simba's got to come back and save him later.
It's.
I just wish there was a better reason he had a grasp on Wakanda. Because if that
how do
was
I
all
say
you
this?
had to do, shit. You're telling me out of all the generations of people that run this place, someone ain't tried to figure that out? Not one bad little bad family come out and did that. He's the only bad version of the family is this guy. Maybe he is. I can even go with that. But it just really feels like, how'd you do this for so long, man? Like it doesn't make any. How does society thrive if you're just hoping to God that they're telling you the truth when they're doing this stuff right in front of you? The minute he stabbed that guy in that fight should have been a red light. They should have all been looking at each other, which they almost kind of did. And they're like, this isn't normal. Like, family or not, he's got to follow the rules. And part of the rules isn't killing our elders that lead us in this stuff, because that's the guy that he killed later would be telling people we need to dethrone him. I get why he killed him, but why they don't realize that's a problem bothers me. Bothers me a lot, because it's like, nah, even kingdoms know that when you're doing it wrong, you're not back in that time. This is the dumbest kingdom that's ever existed. If that's the case. And if that's the case, what are we showing Wakanda? Like, what are we doing here, man? Like, this story. I'm trying to follow you. This fell off the rails for me with that. And it's a plot hole that I cannot oversee. And I'm trying my best to. And I'm hoping it's just taste. When I watch this movie, if this was, if it wasn't a whole kingdom we're talking about, and it was just an inside struggle and it wasn't so public, it'd be a way easier movie to buy. But it's such a public thing he does there. It's such a big thing that happens. I just don't see sure, we can get away with the waterfall thing and they don't know what to do. But how do you not, in the writing of this, in the character development of these people, even Shuri, her character development in general, why wouldn't someone be like, listen, we got to do something about this from the inside? This guy can't do this. This is not right. They're so dependent on that specific ritual that kind of still doesn't make sense. Really. The depowering, there's a lot of that whole thing.
See, I get the ritual.
I get the ritual too. I just think it's just unsustainable for what they want us to think is such a sustainable nation.
Yeah. I'm trying in my head to figure out a way where I could defend it, but it's hard. It really is hard because I do agree with what you're saying. And why I wasn't so put off by it is
it's hard. It is hard to notice it. What this movie does real well, in your defense, to help you out here, maybe this will help you, because I want you to talk me off the ledge a little, but I'm really on it. The problem is this movie does a great job at letting you not think about that bigger picture, because it does do. It's a cool scene, right? It's a fun scene to watch. The acting's top notch. All these guys are doing a good job. We want to see what happens. We care about this stuff. It's Lion King again. We're loving it. It's cool. He falls off the cliff. We want to see him regain his strength and come back and do his thing. It's a little boring and predictable, but we know it's coming. We want to see it. And you don't really ever have it cross your mind that there's thousands to millions of other people that live there, because they don't really show you what's going on. But then when you actually start thinking about it, they're all just cool with this because when they know, look how they act. They know that this guy just took them and didn't earn it the right way.
Yeah.
And you're telling me because of them being so strict on that tradition, they're not going to dethrone him?
Or I wonder if it's out of fear because he could just kill them.
He's not killing all of them. He's a badass. He's not that bad. You saw them girls fight. He gonna kill all of them? Come on. Them girls kill Thanos. You put him in a room with him. I think well, maybe. Without the stones.
Yeah, even without the stones. I don't know about that.
Well, okay, maybe I went too far. But they're killing him.
I mean,
He's
because
just Black Panther strength. That's all he is. He's not just a guy. He's basically Steve Rogers. He's basically Captain America's strength. Basically. And without the suit, he's just a guy that's got super strength and can jump high. He's got to have the suit. Even with the suit, they're kicking his ass.
Because even without the Black Panther power, he was pretty formidable.
Not to these girls, man. You saw what they can do. And even it's not just them either. It's a whole army outside of people. Like I get you.
Yeah.
Put up a fight. He's scary if you're alone with him in a room, but you're not alone. You have a whole kingdom next to you that is going to be like, you're burning our flowers? That's our thing. I got a tattoo of it. What am I supposed to do now? You know, it's like, seriously, it's like, it's their thing. That's it. To them, that's just more sacred than the king, really. It's their way of life.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh, he won the waterfall fight, though. Remember the thing up there, Lion King? He did that. Yeah, it's a problem, man. Like, it's a problem.
I see that.
I just wish it wasn't. I wish it wasn't, but it's like, scary's one thing, but if he's scary, how the hell did they make it through Namor, man? You know what I mean? Like, you're telling me, like, if he's scary, then they should have never shown up at the end of Endgame because that guy's scary. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a point where it's like, at what point do you not stand up for your nation? Like, it's to me, they are technology and smart enough to hide from the world, or smart enough to know that you have to protect what you've got.
You guys better go in the comments section right now and see if you can respond a little bit and make it polite, but try to make a point to see because I am struggling to.
And I don't want
disagree.
To your parade because
No, I get it.
Movie.
No, but
it's
that is
easy to not think about it, though.
It is. That was very easy to not think about because I was just captured enough by the storytelling that they were doing. That is maybe it's because I don't think they're as smart as they're trying to make them out to be. Obviously, with you know, maybe there is a more of a meta explanation for that.
Oof, I think you're reaching.
Let me see.
Because there
is something. I'm lawyering this.
Yeah.
I think.
I'm just saying, no matter what president you are, you get a president that decides, hey, let's just get rid of the American flag and make a new one. We're going to be like, no. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
No.
Yep.
Not going to happen. You know, and like they'll burn his house down before they let him do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to happen. And I don't know. I feel like it's.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm looking through my notes because part of me is thinking, okay, what can I say?
I can understand the absence of the other tribes because they go out and they just do their own thing and they don't want to deal with it.
This is a good example. No, I can't say it that way. I'm tiptoeing around it because I'm thinking, how the heck do I say this? The meta part that was coming to my brain is that no, it doesn't make any sense.
You see, the MCU's done a real good job at explaining why something the MCU's done well is the point that we're at here.
Yeah.
There's some other times later that they've kind of failed, which I'll point them out too. But they've done a good job at explaining when and why things are happening.
Mm-hmm.
So when you watch Civil War, you're like, well, where's Hulk and where's Thor? Well, there's something else going on, right? Or when you're watching, leaving out the TV shows, because Spider-Man should have been there for Daredevil in the show. Where the hell? I mean, come on, we got a whole episode of The Punisher where a whole street is on fire and people are shooting everywhere, and Spider-Man's just like, yeah, I'm not gonna go over there. Anyways,
Right.
but we'll forget the shows. They've done real well at explaining why something can't be done by a certain group. You know what I'm saying? Like, why is this a secret? Or is this happening behind the scenes? Or
Mm-hmm.
this event is happening so fast that they don't have a chance to do anything anyways. A good example is Infinity War, right? There's things that happen in Infinity War happens quick. Once Strange comes to take Tony, from that until the end of the movie, it's like what, a day and a half? Not even like an
Yeah.
afternoon. I don't think it goes into another day before they do the snap. Like it's it's fast, right? This is literally a kingdom ignoring this situation, and I think that that's why it's tough for me, because if that's the case, this Wakanda place kind of sucks. And Wakanda to me, I always thought was supposed to be the advanced part of it, and like I don't know, I don't want to sit back and think that they over the tradition that they're hardcore about. What parts of it are you ignoring and what parts are you not going to ignore? And like and that to me is lazy.
I
That's lazy writing.
I'm gonna give you that credit there. That I feel like what they've established in this movie of what Wakanda is this isolated child that does not know how to protect itself, even because they've been so isolated from the world that if an outsider comes in, this is how easy they could take them over because they don't have rules in place. They're so bounded by tradition and their culture that they don't see that there are and they're technologically advanced because they have nothing to do in this isolated place except play with vibranium that they're blessed with to make some of these crazy cool things.
And
But
fight each other to become warriors, pretty much.
yes, but even then, like it's all within their own tribe of them who's going to become king. It's that's one reason why they never opened up to the world. And honestly, thank God they never opened up to the world earlier, because judging by this and how you just explained this really big plot hole that I can't figure out a way to negate, this nation would have been gone a long time ago
Because don't you think it's
if
a
they
little
opened
bar
up to the world.
let's say their rule is maybe they've all accepted that. They need to say this in the movie, though. That's the problem. I'm making an excuse for them, and it's not. I don't want that. But the excuse you could make is that the rule is it has to be within the bloodline, good or bad, no matter what. That's the rule. Then I guess, oh wow, then you are stuck with this jerk because it just is, right? That that like lions, they can literally kill each other until the best one's on top, and that best one rules, whether it's good or bad. You don't have a choice, I guess, right?
Yeah.
But what a wild, barbaric way to run a place that's supposed to be progressively, socially, you know,
Hmm.
better. Yeah, I don't, and no one sat back to think of a contingency plan when this happens. They're all just like dumbfounded, and it's like, I don't
Hmm.
know, I just really feel like I feel like it's lazy writing.
Mm.
I feel like they're relying on the deep message of this story and the push for the social commentary of it. And you're just going to forget all these mistakes because it's easy to forget it because you got good acting around it. You got good action around it. Um, it was during these boring moments is when I was kind of like thinking about it. And that's the problem for someone like me. This stuff took too long and it's not as fun as The Lion King. They're not dancing on a log and eating bugs and stuff. They're just sitting here whining about it for 7 days. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, know what's going to happen. You're going to go back and you're going to beat him up and you're going to win. You know,
Hmm.
it
Yeah.
really, you have a whole kingdom that's not ready to stand behind you. Just so you know, you're going back for a kingdom that just allowed this to happen to you, by the way. So just think about that while you're sitting there with M'Baku and fixing your wound. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, what the, you should go back
Yeah.
and be like, you guys should be ashamed of yourselves. I had to come back and do this. What the hell's wrong with you? You guys, look what he did. You let him do that. What are you doing? He should have tore the crap out of everybody as well. You've been like, ah, I was like, what the hell? If I was dad, I'd expect you to kick my ass. You know what I mean? Like, stand up for your country, man. Like, I don't know. Anyways, we need to move past it or I'll complain about it all night. But that is a big, if you got more to talk about with it, we will. The only other big thing about this is Killmonger himself that bugs me. And I feel like Killmonger's philosophy is stronger than his actual plan. I mean, they spend a lot of time in this movie making him very understandable and selling this idea that he's abandoned and that Wakanda is ignoring the sufferings and that there's oppressed people out there that need their help and they have the responsibility to do so. They shove that down your throat, but his ultimate goal is to what? I'm going to send weapons out so there can be just carnage everywhere. So I'm going to, my way of seeing justice being done is creating more suffering. It's like, oh, okay, cool. I mean, it's just kind of a weird, I don't know. You had this really neat progressive idea that just went super violent, which I will say this. It's as equally eye-rolling as it is a good commentary to why his ideology sucks. Because you are right. That is something you have got me thinking about. His way of thinking is not the right way of thinking, even though they glorify it in this movie at the end. But it shows that ultimately violence will beget violence. So he's going to do something that is not right to fix something that is too nuanced for him to understand based off of a personal situation that he should handle that way. And
yes.
And that's a flaw in the character, which is okay.
Because he's the villain.
It is a little eye-rolly, though. It's a little on the nose. And I think I'm like, okay. But it's fine. It just means he's not the best villain. MCU's got way worse villains than him. You know what I mean? And it just, for me, doesn't put him on the top pedestal like everyone's got him. He doesn't put him in the bottom either, though. It's great.
Yeah, well, when it comes to the pedestal thing, yes, I think people put him on a pedestal because either they agree with his philosophy and his way of thinking, but the whole point of this film, everyone, is he dies. And he is the villain. Like, I like a good villain. Don't get me wrong. Hella. But this guy,
nobody trusts bitch ass there. Your ass. Nobody trusts him. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Anyways,
and our villain's got a lot of swagger.
Oh yeah.
Like, he's a tough SOB.
Well, yeah, and
I like
Michael B. Jordan knows how to carry it too. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's quite proven for me yet as an actor. I think he's proven to everybody he can act, that he does a real good job in Creed. He does great I know he's good in Sinners, as diverse as Sinners is. I personally still have a hard time believing him. He's just a certain way about him that makes me go, oh, I need to see something from me personally. But that's a very personal touch. It's not, it's what we think how good some actors are. It's hard to tell. And he shows up with a thing.
Yeah,
you gotta be honest. That's a little cheesy.
Oh, okay, guys. So, let's wrap up Act 2 so we could get to this final act.
Yeah.
Did the pacing hold up for you in Act 2?
No, I feel like the whole getting better and the whole being away thing gave me a lot of time to not care about those moments to find this plot hole that I found. So yeah, I think the pacing, I really wish it kept some sort of, I don't know, it lost to Gallup and then it gets it back later, but it lost it somewhere in there. So I didn't care for the pacing of that middle part so much.
I was okay with it because they're trying to give some story exposition for it, but yeah, you're right. They do have a big hole.
There's a few slow moments that I was kind of oof.
Best character moment for you in Act 2. So what I'm going to say about this, my favorite character moment in Act 2 is when T'Challa learns what his father did. And he instantly has this gut punch of, this is not what I thought my father was like. This is a sin that he did that I now have to pay the price for. And that is one thing that, for some reason, Marvel likes to have horrible dads in the whole MCU. At least the silver lining for Tony Stark's dad is we find out later on he really did love him. He was just a prick.
Yeah, he
but
did suck at it.
But yes.
Yeah, I mean,
he wasn't good at showing love.
He was the nicest of them.
From Odin to
Boy, that Odin.
T'Chaka. These dads are horrible.
Yeah.
I am so thankful that Cassie Lang's mother was horrible, so you have some diversity of horribleness in the parent department. But you know,
it's parents in the MCU.
There's
freaking Ego. Come on.
Yes,
like, all these
Ego.
Parents suck. Like,
what is wrong with these parents?
Yeah.
You know, I'm watching this movie, and my first thought when
the X-Men's parents are there because they hate them.
Literally, look at Bobby's parents.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried not being a mutant?
Yeah.
Have you ever just wanted to just be nice for a change? Just be like, I love you, and that's it? Anyways, that's all these freaking people need. That's all Magneto ever needed was someone to say, I love you, and hug him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Apocalypse, all he needed was a love.
Mm-hmm.
We found that in 97.
If only Thanos was raised by the right people.
Yes.
He'd have been just a big purple nice guy.
He'd be Barney. He'd be Barney from Titan.
Barney. Oh my God. Yeah, the parents suck at these.
They do. I forgot what I was about to say, but yeah, it's just I don't know what's up with these parents.
Kind of starts to feel recycled, right?
Okay, what I was gonna say that I lost my train of thought. I started this movie, and my literal thought in my head was, "Oh, it's so good to finally have a nice parent for a change." And then I forgot, and I got to the third act, and then when it gets to that flashback scene, he says, "We shall never speak of this ever again." And then you realize, oh, you abandoned the child there. All you had to do was pick up the child and say, "Your father just died. You're coming back home with me," and you're done. There's no Killmonger.
Issues I was going to bring up that I hate about this movie is this whole movie could have been avoided if he just brought his nephew home.
That's all. That's all. Like, oh my God.
Why didn't he bring him home?
What's the exact word I put for T'Chaka? Where are you? I'm looking in my notes, guys.
T'Chaka.
All right. What is up with these dickhead dads? That's what I put in there. I'm glad Ant-Man had a dickhead mom just to justify the dickheadery throughout all of these. Yeah.
All the good ones die.
That's all they need to do.
All the good parents die.
Yes.
Those parents dead. Aunt May dead. You know what I mean? Like,
Peter's mom dead.
Yep.
Star-Lord, I mean. Yeah, Aunt May dead.
Kill the good ones. Keep the bad ones.
I'm kind of nervous to find out who Uncle Ben ever was, because if I find out he's a dickhead dad, be like, I'm glad he was dead the whole time. Like, what the heck? Right? Like, I have no idea.
Maybe Peter didn't need to know.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they were like, we're going to forget this one.
It's kind of...
Yeah. So I put that as my favorite moment because it's T'Challa. One of the things that he does here that's different than what Thor did not do this in Ragnarok, and he should have done this in Ragnarok, especially during Thor's vision thing, is he should have said, "Dad, what the HE double hockey stick did you do?" At least T'Challa confronts his dad and says, "I'll never be like you. I'm not going to be like you. What did you do?" Thor never says that to Odin.
Well, because he's not really talking to Odin.
I know, he's talking to the Vision, but all he's saying is, help me defeat her. Instead, he should have said, what the hell did you do to my sister?
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's not a diss on that Thor movie. We already went through that retrospect, but it's I appreciate
normal reaction.
T'Challa has what any normal one of us would have been like.
Really?
Yeah, really?
It's like, why didn't you just... I want him to tell us why he didn't bring him home.
To me, is further proof that I feel T'Challa is one of those natural born leaders that he was just he is supposed to be. That's one of the things I got throughout this whole movie, is that every decision that he's making, he's making right decisions as it goes along. And I feel like that's just a natural part of him. He obviously didn't get that from his dad. It must have been his mother.
I agree with his decision making. I just don't agree with where they put his character during a lot of it. That's all. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I do agree with... at this point, I am all about...
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's score Act 2 so we get into Act 3, because I feel like we're dilly-dallying around some of the craziness that's going on here.
Oh, yeah, easy for me. I give Act 2 a 4.
So originally I had written down an 8.
Stick with it.
But there is that huge plot hole that if someone could explain it, I will be happy to amend this back to an 8. But I will have to go down at least a point and a half to give that validity, because that is true. There is no one else other than Nakia that was saying there's a problem here. Even the Dora Milaje, I get it, they're loyal to the throne, but at the same time, your throne was just overtaken.
Like I said,
It's
at
like,
first makes sense, but by the time he starts burning that stuff, someone's doing something.
yes, there has to be a contingency plan. Even our own government has a contingency plan if our president gets out of control, where it's definitely deeply unconstitutional and unprofound. So radical that we have to initiate parts of our constitution to say you are no longer in power. They don't have a checks and balances. They got nothing.
They literally have a fight in a waterfall. Is how they determine it, which makes for a cool scene and really neat kind of backstory.
Who makes the laws?
The guy he stabbed probably does.
Who's the judge? That's why all
the guy
these
he stabbed probably does. You know what I'm trying to say? That's why he stabbed.
He stabbed their Supreme Court justice.
Well, if he can't tell us, what are we supposed to say?
Yeah.
It's like, what are y'all stupid?
Exactly. They have this council of tribes around them. They're supposed to be part of this guiding force, but they're all complicit in this guy overthrowing their government.
Yeah. And they're just going to be able to claim. How it works?
There's
no. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
yeah. So I'm downgrading my thing to a 6.5 out of 10 for this act.
Okay.
I feel like that's still generous for that overwhelmingly huge plot hole. Now that I'm realizing, yikes. Okay, Act 3. I'll read Act 3 because it's my turn. So
some of this we've already talked about, so it's even.
Yeah, so it'll be easy to breeze right through it. Yeah. T'Challa is rescued by the Jabari tribe in M'Baku. He regains his power of the Black Panther thanks to his mother and sister. Then returns to Wakanda to challenge Killmonger in the final battle. T'Challa is victorious and reclaims the throne. In the resolution, he abandons Wakanda's isolationism and sets up the country's first international outreach center in Oakland, California. So, did the ending land for you? Now, the ending is
the very end.
That center opening up, the Wakanda Research Center, right? I think that's the very end before you get to the boat.
And Oakland is where Killmonger's from, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. The ending does not land for me.
Okay.
This is where I feel like they glorify this situation we have with our social commentary.
Okay.
Not only his little speech before he dies, he says some things that are very deliberately like in our face about history that make me go, it wasn't that simple.
But then he dies, so all is forgiven.
He dies, and then he goes and does this whole thing with, like, I get that there is a little bit of a, yeah, you were unfairly, abandoned and all that stuff, but it is almost like they're giving a little, they're making it very, kind of like giving a little validity to his decisions to be a murderer and literally give weapons to groups of people that may not be truly oppressed the way he's claiming that they are, and we're just going to be, that's okay. It's, to me, that's no different than, if there's something going on in your city and it's something you don't like happening, then burn it down. We're not going to do anything about it.
I don't see any of that.
I 100% see it.
I see this as them getting rid of their isolationism by.
I'm cool with all that, but that's a post-credit scene. That's not the end of this movie.
No, I'm not. Yeah, no, I'm not talking about the post-credit scene. That's the publicly declaring they're opening it up, but they already did the end of this movie start those research centers.
I'm all set. I am cool with them opening to the public. This idea of doing it there, mixed with his speech there, it's just, you just glorified this guy in the we now are, oh, don't you feel bad for that guy? No, man. But they want you to. It's like, see, even the bad guys, they're doing real bad things. It's okay, because they had a good reason to feel that way. And it really felt that. It's 100% what it felt.
I see them setting up that Wakanda Research Center there so we don't get more Killmongers.
Why'd it have to be Oakland?
Because that's
where he's from.
Yeah,
And
it's where his dad died.
Right.
It's where Killmonger started his origin down a path of this troublesome, susceptible to a culture that that isn't good.
They failed I think they failed, for me, personally, they failed to get the message across that the way he's thinking and the things that he did to get to where he is unacceptable. Is not the right way to do it. By making this little cliche ending of boo-hoo Killmonger, we feel bad. Oh, look, they're even doing the Oakland thing. Oh, that's so sweet because he just was abandoned little boy. He's a product of his environment from the people and they're oppressed. And it's like, okay, I'm sorry. It's just not that simple. And I don't like that they did that. It's no different than some certain people in our society. They have gotten hurt by other people. And that person that got hurt was also a real bad person, but they ignore the bad part of it just to use that person to push an idea. You understand what I'm saying?
I agree with that last
And
part you're
I'm trying not
saying.
to say a lot of it to get people riled up, but that happens a lot. And it's not all the time. And there's many times I agree with the one side or the other. But I will tell you, this movie makes you feel like as long as he did these things for those reasons, sure, he can't win. Cool, he doesn't win because his ideals suck and they're the wrong way to go about it. But there is a martyrdom to it. And that to me is a problem. I don't like that.
See, I don't see that.
Oh yeah, I feel it.
I only see them going back to that specific spot because his dad died there, not because they're glorifying him. They didn't make a statue in his name. They didn't name it after him.
It might be true. The problem is it's not clear, and it feels to me like it's him offering that olive branch of, oh, well, at least, I'm going to justify your bullshit somewhat. Because I don't know, but it's not at the same time. It's just, that's how it just comes off that way to me. And it really bugs me. So I'm going to get that out of the way because I don't want that to be part of my biggest reasons.
Okay.
That is a small reason to me. I do feel like you didn't slam home enough the idea that this guy was wrong. And you needed to be daring at the end and say the truth at the end, which is he's wrong. He's wrong. You can't use past things to do horrible things in the future and justify it. You can't beat evil with evil. And yeah, he doesn't win. I get it. But it does kind of feel kind of bittersweet. And I really think that that's a drop in the ball. And I think that's why you had people outside of movie theaters not letting other people in. Because I think that's why you got such a love for this character. Because even though he was flawed, and even though he's lost, and even though they do believe in the unity part of it that Black Panther believes in and all that stuff, they still think he's cool because he took it to the end. And I've heard stuff like that. And I'm like, took what to the end? Something that he is wrong about, right? But that they're not seeing it. And that's where the whole society's made me kind of hate this movie. Because it's like, what are you watching? Like, you guys realize, but Coogler did this on purpose because he wants you to feel that way. And I'm calling him out on it because he does it in his other movies too. Your Creed isn't just about boxing. There's a racial thing there too. And Sinners, like I told you, is all about this whole idea of appropriation, which, don't get me wrong, I think there's some stuff in there to be said about it. But then I also think you kind of went a little far with a few things that make me go, that's a little, you're perpetuating a thing that has a lot more nuance than what you're willing to express. And you're using our entertainment to do it in metaphors by that way too. So it's like, so white people are vampires now, it's like, all of them, every white person in the movie, you know what I mean? Like, oh, okay. And it just makes you kind of, it just makes me feel left out, which they can all argue that, but we did for a long time. I understand. I don't live in the past, so man, like I love our country for what it is today, and we don't need to be that way. And I actually like Sinners if it wasn't so kind of ball-breathing, But I want to get away from that because I'm gonna get I know this is gonna be the one video that we're gonna get real famous someday, and they're gonna be like, wait a minute, did you see their Black Panther thing? That one guy. And I don't want you to think that, guys, because I am all for, if you want to make a movie that is centralized on a certain culture, I think you deserve it. I like that they did Shang-Chi. I like they did this. I hope they make more of these. I'm actually so for it that I'm more mad that you didn't get a young black actor to just replace T'Challa, and
Yes,
you just completely got rid of the character.
I
Because I
agree.
think Chadwick would have rather seen another young black actor out there have a chance to play this awesome
I
character.
agree.
So to me, it's almost like a disservice.
They
So that's how
robbed.
much I'm on your
Yes.
side. I just don't need you to put it in this movie about things that we need to have a more important, nuanced conversation about. And this movie makes me feel like I can't do that. With that said, my only other problems with this movie at the end of this whole thing, so the ending does not work for me because I do feel that heaviness. The climax works for me and doesn't at the same time. The climax feels earned. The emotion and the stakes and this between them feels earned. But this movie becomes a quick CGI fest. And this is the first time in a while I saw some CGI. I was like, I can get over CGI not looking the best. But this movie, what? There's a lot of CGI in this last fight. And I'm not saying there's not a lot of CGI in the MCU movies because there's a ton. I just don't know why did Civil War look so much better than that rhino running through the field, you know? And that whole train sequence stuff, poof, man, oh man, it just, the CGI felt like I was watching a cartoon.
Hmm.
It was too much. There needed to be more. I had the same problem with Ant-Man Quantumania.
Oh.
The same problem. So it's not just this movie. I want to make that clear. It's not just this movie. See, at least in Thor Ragnarok, right, when he jumps down on the Rainbow Bridge, he's fighting them. The surrounding is all CGI, but there's people there he's fighting, right? There's a whole segment where they're fighting in this train thing where until they take their masks off, which then now they're just like floating heads in a cartoon, it really is like apparent that, oh, this is CGI. A lot of it, like hardcore. And that rhino looked awful. Like, I'm just, oh, eek. They need to go back in the oven.
I
Need to add a little more detail to that, you know what I'm saying? Like, a little more new, yuck. You know what I mean? Like, to all the colorful and beautiful things they do in this movie that do excellent CGI, that last part, they kind of skimped the money on. They should have put more money in that last part because that last part was a way bigger deal. But that last part felt like it turned into a cartoon for like a half an hour.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just like,
It was very heavy with the CGI for when the two Panthers are fighting each other. I agree. I agree with that. I feel like Quantum Mania definitely gave it a run for its money in saying that that was the worst CGI I've seen.
I have to agree.
Then
It's way worse than
yep.
this CGI.
Yes. Yeah. So I do see your faults with your point of view, I should say, with the CGI having faults in here. But I was able to overlook it because
You know,
it wasn't, to me, it wasn't as much. There are some parts like when the rhino busts through the jet that is 100% pure CGI. They didn't even think, oh, let's just blow something up and add that into it to make it look a little more real-ish.
yeah.
So I'll give you points for that there.
And you know, the thing is, though, is we've seen them use CGI way better.
Yeah.
So it's not so much that it has to be practical for me to like it. It just is if you're going to have that heavy of a CGI moment, that should be where the majority of the money for your CGI goes then.
Yeah.
Because that's the selling point. When you look at that airport scene in Civil War, it's almost flawless. Like everything's perfect. But they knew that had to be that good, right? I mean, even Endgame, like it's like, whoa. Like I'll even say Guardians of the Galaxy CGI is better, and that's a lot of CGI in that. And that just kind of seemed, flat. They put a lot of CGI and stuff into these realms that they go to, and they look awesome and cool, but it just felt like the fighting. And to be honest with you, the choreography of even the fight alone is still not as it wasn't as good as the fight in the beginning. Like I really was kind of like, oh man, I was a little let down, about that. But I do think the climax was earned though, so I'll give it that.
Well, I put for me it was earned. So let's see, the best moment I'll give for Act 3 for myself was the conversation between T'Challa and M'Baku. I feel like that was really showcasing that T'Challa is not like past leaders where he actually wants to mend fences. And he's already at that point just went through his realization with the confrontation with his father. And I feel like that was nice to see because as we know in Wakanda Forever and now into Doomsday, M'Baku does play a bigger role. And I think that he was able to do something that past kings for generations never was able to do and get that tribe to become more part of it. And it's only because of T'Challa.
And he did that for the better of the nation. Right?
Yes. Yep. That's just another proof that he was meant to be king.
Right. And the fact that he was able to make that change for the better of a nation, everybody understood it, got it.
Yep.
Kind of like how they should have just stood up and killed Killmonger, right?
Yeah. I agree, but I don't think they were able to see what we're seeing.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
You see where I'm coming from with that when I do say that, though. It's not to rub it in or make it, but it does make you even feel more so. Like, really?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, we can do this, but we can't do that.
So I'm going to start off with the score then for Act 3.
My best moment in this, I kind of like
yes.
Just to throw it out there quick.
Yep.
But my best moment is, it's in kind of the fighting. I think Shuri, when she's got those things on her hands fighting him, I just was like ruined for her the whole time. She's
yes.
You know what I mean? Like, she's probably my favorite character. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, that moment with M'Baku, I have later in our thing. Like, I like that scene a lot too.
Yes. All right. My score I know is going to be higher than yours for Act 3, but I gave it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I give it a 4.
Okay. Because I just saw that ending landing different for me than it did for you, but that's okay.
More of my 4 though comes from is a taste thing, and the CGI is too heavy for my taste. Unfortunately, it did affect my watch. I wish it didn't, but I wasn't able to overlook. I was like, oof. And it's like, darn, the seriousness left. I'm like, oh no, you know what I mean? I felt bad. I even tried to watch it twice, and it felt worse the second time.
Boy.
I just judged it off the first one just to be safe. So I want to be fair too.
All right. Why don't you read the post-credit scenes?
Okay, so we got a mid-credit scene revealing Wakanda to the world. T'Challa travels to Vienna, Austria, to address the United Nations. He formally announces that Wakanda will end its historical isolation and share its knowledge and resources with the rest of the world. And then there's a post-credit scene. The White Wolf returns. Is he called the White Wolf in this too? Yeah. It's funny because Bucky's just like frozen somewhere during all this. Or is he out in the field? No, he's got to be frozen.
Yeah, right? that's...
You could have used Bucky, man.
We're going to get to that.
In a remote Wakandan village, local children refer to a recovering Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, as the White Wolf. Bucky, now freed of his Hydra brainwashing, steps out of a hut and thanks T'Challa's sister, Shuri, for helping him recover.
Okay. So
the purpose of these basically is that, it sets up, obviously it's going to be setting up, Bucky's back, and he might be safe Bucky, which is a big deal because if he's not safe Bucky, we got a problem. And I forgot that they were able to fix his head, which I'm glad because he's safe Bucky. So now he can be Captain America, right?
Amen.
And then we got also T'Challa opening up to the world's big because that opens up a lot in the MCU about everybody knowing about Wakanda and holy moly, you know what I mean? Like,
so, okay, I have mixed feelings about both of these post-credit scenes personally. Okay. Let's start off with the first one, the mid-credit scene.
Yes,
revealing Wakanda to the world. There is a small amount of payoff in Wakanda Forever for it. Sorry, I thought there was a bug on my leg. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be killed. Anyways.
Life's last before
it's it. I'm like, oh, all right, Wakanda Forever. So, yeah. So, I'm sorry, guys. Woo! All right. So, there's a small amount of payoff for this first part. Not in the payoff I wish we had in Wakanda Forever. And that's going to get to my gripe when we get to Wakanda Forever when we get there.
Gotcha.
So, initially, if I had to score just that mid-credit scene, I would probably give that maybe a 4 out of 10.
I was going to say 5.
Okay,
So
that would make
we're
a
thinking
little
about the
sense.
same
Yes,
thing, yeah.
yes. All right, the post-credit scene, the White Wolf returns. Bucky. This, I like the scene that's showing that Bucky's still alive. It makes sense. He was out there and he stayed there after Civil War. He was put under ice, and it was supposed to tease Wakanda's coming, all that stuff. The problem is he is not frozen, which means this whole time you had the frickin' Winter Soldier that T'Challa could have called upon to help him.
Maybe he was frozen during this time, though. We just don't know. That's the thing. We just don't know, right? When he's unthawed. This could be this post-credit scene could be like 2 years later.
But what we see,
That's the only argument I'd have is we just don't know, right?
that part, I'll give you that, because I don't remember anything saying in Infinity War this is like a certain timestamp, and in this movie, this is a certain timestamp. Because from my understanding, this movie takes place immediately after Civil War,
Right.
and
Pretty close to it.
a lot of things
Yeah.
from Civil War to Infinity War going on, but they all could have been happening at the same time. We really don't know. That I'd love to look up some Marvel nerd genius out there on the YouTubes that maybe has a timeline down that says when these things are happening, because that would make me more
He
sense.
hasn't been getting too long because he's still getting his feet
Yeah.
about it.
Yes.
Which means Bucky's, and if that's the case, then it is pretty close to Civil War.
Yeah.
Which means Bucky's probably still on ice during this movie.
Yeah, and this post-credit scene literally just takes place right before they bring him in, and they're welcoming the Avengers. So
thinking.
Okay, I'll give it that for that part, because otherwise I would have given that a much lower score.
Yeah,
So
I got you.
I think overall I would rate both of these together like maybe a 7 out of 10.
I definitely give that second one at least a 7 just because I love Bucky.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's fair for both of them. So let's do that.
Yep. All right, 7 out of 10. There it is. All right, guys, our deep dives. Now we're gonna get into the meat, the juice, everything about this movie. Best performances.
Chadwick Boseman.
I got the same thing, Chadwick Boseman. Yep.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say. I mean, I wish his story wasn't The Lion King, but what it was, though, and the stuff he did, I think he did a fantastic job with. He's definitely a great Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love what he did. I think it's awesome. It's too bad he can't do it again.
Yeah.
I wish we could have got more. But
I agree.
I say you give us some Damson Idris, and we just move on. And I would be happy with that, too. So
most surprising performance.
What's her face that played Shuri?
Yep.
I can't remember her name.
Letitia.
Yeah, Letitia. Yeah, I think I love this character. And I'm actually sad that she becomes Black Panther later, because I want her to thrive in this character. And I kind of, I don't remember her and Tony never meet, do they?
No, that's a shame.
That would have been a great scene, right?
That would be awesome.
Brains talking. But
yeah.
her and Mark Ruffalo at least met and they have a talk. So that was neat. You know what I mean? Her and
yes, Bruce Banner. Yes, you're right. Yeah.
But she's a genius. She's awesome. Like, I just love this character. I really, really like her. So
yeah, I would.
She's funny.
So this is performance wise for me. Yes, I'm gonna agree with you. Letitia was great as Shuri. And this is probably my favorite Shuri we ever have had in the MCU thus far. I want to give some props to Michael B. Jordan because I do like his performance of the character. To me, that did stick out to me when I saw it in theaters, and I was reminded of that in the rewatch that he does give a good performance for this. Like, he does give a lot for it. It's just that you could disagree with the character itself and how he was written and on the story and all that stuff, but yeah. All right, weakest performance. I feel like there's 2.
I give it to Daniel fella, the traitor ass. I think he's awful.
Yep.
I do not like the actor. I haven't liked him in anything else. So I'm sorry, guy, but you just are someone I don't relate. I don't see honesty. And obviously in this, it's funny. I didn't mean it like that, but I just don't see an honesty in his acting. I do struggle with him, and I know I don't want anyone out there mad at me, but I mean, it's all taste, guys, right? I'm not going to pretend to like somebody I don't.
I don't even remember his actual name in the movie, so I'm gonna say the same thing, Traitor Ass. So between Traitor Ass and Claw.
His nickname is Traitor Ass. I love it.
I'm sorry, it kind of fits, but yeah, Traitor Ass and Claw, I think, are the weaker performance. And so I do not have a problem with Claw as much. It makes better sense that he passed away that early. They killed him off, and by the second act, I'm thankful for that, because had he lingered on, it would have been much worse.
I agree.
But so he served for the plot device of what they were trying to do in the film, so I'll give it that. But I've seen Andy Serkis do better. And I think it's just what was written for him. He's not bad. He's a great actor and everything. And I think this is how they wanted him to be, but they made him too comedical.
Yeah.
Probably is the best way to say it. But then again, I don't remember too much about what Ulysses Claw was like in the comics, so maybe he was more accurate than I thought. So who knows? But
I just wish he was seen more sly.
Mhm.
Like, you can keep that attitude he's got, because I kind of think it fits and he plays that well. But the slyness of being able to evade multiple countries that are looking for him, I don't buy it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like Los Angeles Police Department could find that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like
kind of hard to miss.
I feel like you could send out like the guys that look for Bigfoot and they'd find him. You know what I'm saying? Like, on accident. He's there. He's just so much there. He's ridiculous. So I just wish he was slyer. You know, it was like a more of a, oh, this is why he always gets away, because he's super smart about it. You know what I mean? Like, but there just was none of that, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree. All right. Casting wins or misses.
So a casting win, that's where I put, for a win, I put Killmonger,
Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan.
Okay.
Because to me, there's nothing I can think of that makes me go, wow, what an awesome, like, really stand out. I feel that kind of thing, regardless of what I agree with his, because I agree that I think he played the part well. I think you're 100% right about he being the representation of a failed ideology. And that's why I think there's nothing wrong with any of that. And I think he plays it well, and he's got quite a swagger to him. But I can't think of anything that makes me just like, he doesn't stick out to me like Green Goblin does, you know, Willem Dafoe or anything. But I put it as a win because he does a great job. You know,
Yeah,
of course, it's great.
yeah. I agree with your sentiments there on that casting wins. I actually would put Angela Bassett for myself as a casting win for this.
Oh yeah,
She plays a good mother of them. And one thing that I will say that I do like of this movie, when they get, it's something that I don't see in the MCU too often, and so this is a very big compliment for this film in particular, is that when they have a feeling of emotion, you can feel it whether it's happy or sad, or especially when they're mad and things like that. Like, they raise their voice and they're throwing up their fists and all that stuff. Like, you could just see it in their face and how they all change and everything. I'm like, that is really good for that acting part of being able to do that. And every one of them, from Killmonger to Chadwick Boseman to Shuri to especially Angela Bassett, can do that performance. And she brings that again into Wakanda Forever, and I can't wait to talk about her role in that one specifically for that. But that's just one thing I wanted to mention while we were at that I put Angela Bassett as my casting win for sure.
Nice.
And I do have to give a mention to Forrest Whitaker. So in this,
I almost forgot about it.
So in this, we talk about in every one of these movies how they have a legacy actor that comes in. Everyone easily could have said Angela Bassett in this movie is the legacy actor, but I would say Forrest Whitaker in this movie is the legacy actor, and Angela Bassett is the legacy actor for Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, I completely agree, which makes me more angry about how he goes out. So I don't know it. I'm with you. Yeah.
I hear you. All right, missed opportunities or wasted potential.
Yeah, the missed opportunity here is you could have really fleshed out an interesting character with Claw and could have had him in this more if he wasn't so wild and ridiculous.
I say that.
You gave us a little more of what we saw before, and we just didn't want it. And then to kill him And we're just kind of like, yeah, that character was so pointless almost. There's no reason for him almost at all. Anytime we see him in the MCU, the only thing he's good for is giving you any kind of vibranium.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Boring,
Yeah.
and so, yeah, I just feel like they took a character and used him in a very bad way, I think.
Yeah. All right, so guys, the direction and production. So, what comments do you have to say about the directing style, cinematography?
So I think the cinematography is good.
Yep.
I think the camera placing's great. I think there's a lot of great visuals in this, especially in the beginning and middle.
Mhm.
I think the director's very smart. I think he films live action real well, like like practical action real well, because that first openings or the casino fight, I love it, and I think he films it real well. And with that, the action in this is great. It just loses me with the CGI. We get the CGI part, and this is a taste thing. It does kind of give me a knock in the butt and make me. I Usually what happens with me in CGI is I'll be watching a movie, CGI will happen that's shoddy, and I almost don't think about it because I can pass it by, and I almost immediately accept the fact that it's okay at CGI. This movie went into the CGI moments for me, and it was shocking, and it set me out of the story. So I felt like I was noticing something that they intended me to feel this way. So I'm gonna have to say that I think they misuse their funds when it comes down to when the CGI needs to really, or just less of it. I really think that last fight could have been somewhere else. I mean, it's like I think they kind of took advantage of the fact that we've gotten used to CGI in the MCU, and it just kind of fell short for me.
Hmm.
Music though is great in this movie. I
I
think that's one of the things that excels at the most.
Yeah, I love the mixture of African
Yeah,
tribal music
yeah, it's great.
with the rap of nowadays
Yeah,
blended together. That really well creatively
awesome.
done.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very
I
creative.
mhm.
Yep.
Yeah. I completely agree with all that you said on that. I put moderate actually for the CGI quality because of that scene in particular at the end.
Gotcha.
But anyways, yes. So now we're getting on to our hot takes.
Yeah, I've said my hot takes.
All right.
I said that, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want people to get mad at me, but there are the few things I said. All due respect, I just felt like a little bit of it got jammed down my throat. But yeah, my biggest hot take is Killmonger's plan, and I talked about that earlier. It's just kind of really,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
So,
eye rolly. It still makes sense, but it's kind of okay. Yeah,
well, to me, the plan doesn't make sense for long-term prosperity.
right, right.
And the main reason is he never thinks beyond giving the weapons.
Yeah,
Because, yeah, okay, the goal is give the oppressed black people weapons. That's literally what he basically says. And then they topple over governments. One, you can't just topple over government with weapons. You got the Avengers out there. There's other pieces out there that you have not
yeah,
thought through.
yeah.
S-
And
And
and two, they're not all right about all of it. Like there's certain things that it's
yeah,
nuanced.
well,
Yeah.
and here's a third. Say you succeed in that. What then? What says they're not going to come after you?
Hmm.
You've given these people that do not know how to use these weapons. You teach them how to use it. If they have a similar philosophy to you, they eat their own in this same ideology. You are not going to be the king.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is going to lead me actually to my hot take. This film proves that the toxicity of identity politics only leads to rage, warfare, and self-destruction.
Mm.
Whether you like it or not. And take a look at Killmonger as his example. His father came directly from Wakanda, not from a descendant of a slave to America or any other country. Killmonger went to MIT, an Ivy League school. He joined the Navy SEALs and mastered a specific craft of eliminating targets, most of whom were enemies of America. The freedom he enjoyed and he was privileged to was never hindered by the color of his skin or his heritage, but instead by a worldview that teaches your ancestors' oppression must be all that you are, which aren't even his actual ancestors, as I just pointed out. He came from Wakanda. his father was literally part of the royal family of Wakanda. And it was because of his father's poor choices why all that stuff went down. Even though, yeah, T'Chaka, you had a problem too.
Just didn't bring him home. Like,
yes, that wasn't that hard to do. Anyways, so T'Challa, Black Panther, we know, takes a bold and progressive decision at the end to strike a balance of benefiting the world using their resources, but making sure that the vibranium is not turned into forging weapons, but instead used as education for underprivileged youth. I think that was a great way of balancing it, of that ideology, not the ideology, I'm sorry, but balancing the idea of let's open up more to the world because we actually can help them. And I feel like that was more speared on because we don't want any more people like Killmongers. So if there's a way we could help educate the people to not rely on old oppression that they actually aren't living in. That's where it all boils down to. So yeah, I'm not going to say that last part because I will definitely get canceled there. So
I'm going to read it when we're done. I want to know what you're talking about. It can't be that bad. I mean, we haven't really said much.
Honestly, this isn't bad, but to the wrong people that actually worship Killmonger, they will, yes.
You know, and that's...
Yeah.
Because I've said it already. I still agree with you on all of that.
Yeah.
The only way that it would have been sent home better, and I would have believed it, if they just wouldn't have done it in Oakland. The fact that they did it there makes you feel like Killmonger accomplished something whenever you needed to end this feeling like he didn't at all.
Because
I get what you're
I'm
saying.
trying to wrap my head around that, but I don't see it.
It's like, I don't, yeah.
I just see where they go there. The main reason they go there is T'Challa says, this is where our father killed our uncle. And this is where I want to start that that Wakandan center so we can teach uneducated youth to not kill each other.
Right. But it's kind of it's like a side hustle of, see, at least Killmonger got this done, right? I don't know. It just feels that way.
All right.
They might as well just put a statue of him up in the middle of the whole goddamn thing.
See, if they did that, I would have been.
They kind of are. It just should have been any other place, and it would have been like, yeah, you're right. They're just changing things. But because they made it about where he came from, they made it very personal like that. That bothers me. Sorry.
Okay.
I feel like they validated him.
That's just a difference.
Through T'Challa's eyes.
Yeah.
But I guess that, that's right.
All right.
I might be going too hard on that, I guess. But like I said, that's beyond all that. I've already pointed out the things that are not political that's wrong with this movie. You know what I mean? Like, for me, at least.
Okay, so best scene of the movie.
Best scene of the movie, I think it's when he does learn about his father and what his father had done. I think that that's some of the best acting from him. I think it's a real good scene. I really like that one a lot.
Yep, I agree. I completely agree. Least best scene or worst scene of the movie? I think it's the Killmonger burning the heart-shaped herbs. And I left that spot blank until you told me that.
I really don't like that scene.
Because I agree with your point of view that's when someone else should have said, "Wait a minute."
Well, it goes beyond his plan and gets more about a revenge, about a place that.
Yes. Yep.
If it's got something to do with the plan, it would make sense, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
Actually,
it kind of goes against his own plan of, if don't you want them all more powerful? Can't everyone be Black Panther at that point then? Anyways, so best villain moment for you. Mine's an interesting one. Mine's one that you kind of have to think about for a moment. And it's probably a little minute, or maybe you'll call it a little stupid, but I put
go ahead.
I put mine is when Killmonger looks at Queen Ramonda and says, "Hey, Auntie." And you'd be like, "Huh?" Because
I get what you're getting.
Usually in that type of lingo, when someone, especially African-American people, when they say that to each other, that's supposed to be a term of endearment to be like, we're all family. Hey, Auntie. Whether they're actually their aunt or not. And he's using it, though, in a sadistic way. Like, I'm jabbing this into you that I'm here and I'm going to take over. Hey, auntie type thing.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, for that lingo of the culture-wise, I think that's pretty villainous. So, anyways. Maybe I overthought that.
Yeah,
But,
I didn't have much in here for this one because I just had struggle with it. Boy. His moment, though, I think his best moment is the moment complain about the most, though, and unfortunately, it's, like, the best and the worst. Like, the worst scene in the movie is him burning the leaves, but the best moment of his is him burning the leaves because it kinda proves that, "Oh, this isn't just like, you know it proved to me that you're whether I agree with what he thinks,
mhm.
it's not purely that. There's a deeper meanness to this person."
Yeah,
So that's why I'm
yeah.
gonna give that to him for that.
I can see
As
that,
strange as that is,
actually.
it can be both of those at the same time.
Yeah,
It's hard to explain that, but
I get it. Most punchable face for you. I put T'Chaka. Just another dad. Deadbeat dad. So, like,
you've convinced me with that. I agree with you.
I hate to say
This
that,
guy I
but
wanna
I'm
punch
like,
gets what he deserves, so I'm gonna give it to him too.
yeah,
He is a piece of crap parent.
it's up until that point, and I get it. Everyone makes mistakes, but your mistake literally creates a villain. Like, anyways, yeah. Anyways, one prop you take home. I put those remote control discs that Sherry says you could throw on cars. I thought those discs are kind of cool.
Oh, yeah, those are
I
cool.
was gonna choose one of the beads, but they use the beads in the next movie too. And part of me is like, what's something that I don't remember seeing in the next movie that's unique to this movie? So those remote
I
control
wouldn't mind,
discs.
like, a fake one of the flower things they got, like, of the
Mhm.
I think those are cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you know what? The Wakanda necklace.
Oh, yeah, those
That would be really
awesome.
cool.
Or even his mask there at the museum scene, I like
Yep.
that. That's cool as shit. Yeah, there's some good ones.
All right. Underrated moment.
Underrated moment. What do I got here? That's the moment, that he's talking to M'Baku.
'Kay.
I say it's underrated because I don't you're the only person I know that I've listened to or talked with that talks about it.
Mm.
How he talks to him, and you see how he wants to unite everybody.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like that scene. I like when T'Challa is talking to him. Yeah, that's a real good moment of him. You can tell this is the kind of king he wants to be. I don't think it's talked about enough. So
Yeah. I put for my underrated moment is the death of Killmonger, and in particular, this is what I want to say about it. Majority of people look and remember what Killmonger said, but they fail to absorb what T'Challa says. He offers Killmonger a chance of redemption and to experience a family and learn how to benefit the world, but instead, Killmonger decides to take his own life, assuming that he's just a prisoner forever. He definitely is going to be imprisoned, but there was a moment there where T'Challa could have been like, hey, we could in a way rule together and you could be part of the family you feel like you never had. I would never have abandoned you because that's what T'Challa would have done. He would have said, you could stay here, you could be here, you are my cousin. But instead, Killmonger is so blinded by that worldview that he has, he decide it'd be better for him to die. And so that leads me actually into my overrated moment. That line of bury me in the ocean with my ancestors, that is overrated. It's
that's my overrated moment too.
it's hyped up a lot online especially, but all it is race baiting. It's
And he's
stupid.
not even part of that.
Exactly, it's stupid, it doesn't serve the character.
Because I'm gonna talk about it here.
Yeah, no, but I'm just
There's
saying,
something I really wanted to say something.
it would
Yeah.
make sense if he wasn't Wakandan from royal blood, how he got to America. I will give you that, but he's not. So him saying it has no weight to it.
Then he's mad at the wrong people.
Yeah. Anyways,
Okay.
funniest moment.
The sneaker stuff. What are
Yeah.
those? That's hilarious. I just think it's funny. I like a lot of the stuff she does anyways, but that's probably laughed the most at.
She's got one of mine. I got two written down here. I put for her. She says, "Great, another broken white boy for us to fix."
That was my second choice.
I'm like,
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
funny.
And then I also love M'Baku when he says, "I will feed you to my children." Just kidding, we're vegetarians. I'm like, that's funny. That was pretty good. Most emotional moment.
I think the scene with him confronting his father, T'Challa, and I think that counts as the most emotional.
Yeah, that's emotion. Yeah.
Because it's him. It's that moment you see the decision that he's going to make a different path, that he's going to be a different kind of person, a different king.
Mm-hmm.
When he realizes he can't follow in his footsteps, you know what I mean? Because it's wrong.
That's good.
I really like that scene.
I like that. I like that answer because that pick. Mine is the response from Ramonda when T'Challa died, because you could just tell it was a mother mourning the loss of her son at that moment, type thing. Even though, of course, we know he wasn't dead, but still,
I got
just saying. All right. Well, was that the last one?
Holy cow, was it?
Yes. Final scores, y'all.
Wow, that was the last one.
Cool.
What a push, huh?
Awesome. All right. So, story out of 2 for you.
Let me make sure.
Yeah. Am I missing anything? And Barbie is like, that seems short.
No, it's good. I thought there's something I was leaving out that I wish I would have said, but I think we completely. Yeah, we're good. It was really convenient that they had that one plant, that one herb for him to get the power back with the.
Nakia stole it.
Adds on to the whole convenience of the coming in and out of the power and what you get out of here. So yeah, it bothers me. So okay, let's go ahead and do the score. You're right.
Okay, out of 2, what's the stories for you?
Yeah, it's a 1.
Okay,
Lion King.
I put 1.5. All right, characters.
2.
Yep, 2. Action and visuals.
0.5. I had to go low. That CGI is glaring to me at the end. But that is a taste thing, though, so I'm not offended at all if you loved it.
Well, I put 1.5 because there are hints of the Panther battles that made me see it. Anyways, emotion and stakes.
A 1.
I gave it 2. For me, the emotion definitely was there. And the stakes where he was about to give people that don't know how to use a gun all these advanced weapons, like, that's big stakes.
Yeah, I guess if you put it in that, I could agree.
And his whole goal was to topple governments. It wouldn't have never happened.
Right.
By the way, they forget.
It would have failed.
If you're watching this movie and you think, oh my gosh, that would have been a world ending. This is in the MCU. We literally have the Avengers right there. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It would not have worked.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it
nice try.
Far. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I give it the 1 for the emotion part, but the stakes, his whole plan is for that it's if. Yeah, that's why I gave it the 1. But
rewatchability and MCU impact.
So I'm gonna give it a 1. I could go the rest of my life and not watch this movie again. But I do believe it is a very important movie to the MCU, mainly for this character and Wakanda itself being involved, just in general.
Okay. All right, so I gave it a 2 because I could rewatch the movie. There were parts of it that were fun for me, and my ultimate take at the end of it is a little bit more nuanced, and I feel actually I really like that Killmonger died, and linking that with his ideology is the reason why he's the villain. I think that was really, for me, whether Ryan Coogler intended for that or not, that's how it came across to me, and so for that, it's a win.
Okay.
And
I like it too.
And I feel like
it is intended.
In that spirit, had Killmonger not won or something else had been different, like a statue erected of him or something like that, that would have then made to me sound like virtual signaling, where this was made for one audience, where at least I can at least give a defense enough to say this is meant for everyone. If you agreed with Killmonger, you liked and you saw those points of view. If you agreed with T'Challa, you liked and you saw those points of view. So for that, for me, I feel like that struck somewhat of a balance. It's a risk. Just doing this whole thing really is a risk, because you're not supposed to politically polarize your fans. But he did it. And at least it's palpable enough for me. So I'll give him
I can give you
that.
that. I can give you that for sure. Yeah.
All right. Now, final scores. I downgraded mine because of some of the glaring issues that we've talked about. But it's not so far downgraded where I feel like I've compromised too much or anything.
I'm gonna tell you why my score is this.
'Kay.
And I'm gonna make clear why it's not either, okay?
Okay.
It is not for the political stuff we talked about. I just wanted to make sure that we were very clear that if I seem very somber about this movie, it is because I have had a hard time separating the issue with the movie and what politics and the society has made it.
Mm.
But I am giving the score to this movie based on the movie itself
Mhm.
and letting that go. So even with the whole how it turned out the Emma Killmonger and whether he's martyred or not,
Yeah.
that's not part of it to me because there was no clear. It's just how I was feeling,
Yep.
right? So I would with that I will say, I think there's several convenient things that happen in the storyline and plot. I think there's a few miscasts and or misusage of characters. The one big glaring plot hole to me is a problem. And it really does feel like Lion King. Kind of remastered and like moved around and kind of in a way fleshed out. Um, so I'm gonna give it a 4.
'Kay.
I think it's below average. Oh, I didn't mention this, and once again, this is why this one's tough because whether I put a real strong argument out there for that pothole that I see you have a struggle with. I see you're struggling with it too. But the thing I will say, why I said this is gonna come down to taste than it is actual problems,
Mhm.
is because the one big one is that CGI really took me out of the movie, and it usually doesn't, but that last fight scene, I really was kinda, "Oof, this feels generically, boringly fake," and it reminded me of some of the stuff that's coming up too, and it kinda made me go, "Ugh," I think they wanted us to just get caught up in the cultural movement of this and not
Not that.
not see this that way, and it just doesn't. Maybe the first time I saw it, it didn't bug me, but now that I've seen it 4 times now,
Yeah.
it's very apparent to me that, oof, you should have put some more money towards that. Somewhere move the money around. It should,
Yeah.
maybe the car chase scene could have been a little shorter and get a little more money towards it or something because it just for me, it really took me out of the movie. And that is a taste thing. So you can breeze through it. That's cool. I struggle with that sometimes when it gets too heavy. Horror movies do that to me a lot. That's why I'm like, if you can't make the monster or put a guy in the suit, then don't do it because sometimes a horror movie's great until they show you the monster and it's like, ooh,
Mhm.
no, it's not scary no more. You know what I mean? Like it's scary when you just only barely see it, but and that's what this felt like. It felt like too
Yep.
much. Bring it down. Could have been a better place to have that. I think the last fight should have been at the waterfall. Personally, I think it'd have been a kind of cool, all the way around 3 big important scenes about them fighting at the waterfall. I don't know why it needed to be that huge extravaganza of what they did. I felt like that went super Hollywood. That went super Zack Snyder. Felt like Star Wars looked fake. That's why it really bugged me. So
Okay.
that's why the 4.
Valid.
If
Valid.
that was better, if that looked better, it'd have been a 6.
Mm.
That's the honest truth.
Mm.
But it really just felt oof, eesh, for me.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna give the same caveat. It doesn't not this my score is not reflecting any of the social or political implications of this movie.
Good.
Just like you, this is just solely based on the quality of the film itself. The story they were telling was a convincing. The the things we normally grade this on. I don't grade my films based on politics, even if they touch upon it like this film does.
Mhm.
So with that said, I did give this the things that were wrong for me in this film was not explaining the depowering of the Black Panther stuff because I feel like that was, like you said, a little bit of a convenient plot point. Um and then the trying to remember what was in the second act that I said, oh, the predictability. I easily was able to see what was going to happen next, and I wished it had a little more nuance to it of, oh, here's a curveball, you didn't see this coming. They didn't have that for me. That got to the point where that part was predictable. It got a little bit better towards Act 3 when it came to that, but for Act 2, I could have told you the whole act without seeing it, and that was not good for me. And then the third thing is, yes, the CGI quality between the two Panthers, it did feel a little lacking there. And I also can't get over the underutilization of the whole Wakandan army. Because even in this scene that's replaying in the background of us right now, where the first waterfall fight ritual scene, you see everyone there, every tribe. There's a lot of people there, but yet there's not that many in the final battle. And it makes me wonder, where are the green tribe colored people? Where are the purple colored tribe people? To differentiate their clothing based off the color and the tribe and all that. You only see the Jabari, white wearing colored people, and the border tribe blue wearing colored people, and the Dora Milaje they're basically like the Secret Service of the throne. That's it. You don't see all these other ones. But yet when you go to Infinity War, you see everybody. Especially when you see Infinity War and you compare that battle to this battle, the masses are huge. And you're like, where were you during this Killmonger thing?
Where were you when he's burning your sacred earth?
Yes. So for that reason, I mean, that's a simple correlation of being like, hey, you got to talk to the Russo brothers. They're literally filming the other movie at the same time you're finishing up this one. You could have added some more extras with different robes on just to do something.
To be honest, it would have gave this movie, I just want to throw that point out to you, it would have gave this movie a larger scale feeling.
Yes.
That it kind of deserves.
Yeah.
Because even looking at scenes like this, it still feels almost
that feels grand.
Scale.
This feels grand.
Well,
this
it does,
scene.
But it doesn't, right? It like the background makes it feel grand. That shot does, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine some of this incorporated with like the other stuff we're talking about? I think it would be better. But sometimes this movie feels too personal that it doesn't feel like a kingdom. It just feels like a town.
Yeah. Yes, a village, a small village. Yeah. Like, no, this is a city.
Yeah, this should be a whole country, actually.
Yeah. So for that reason, I am going to give this, though, a score of 8 out of 10.
Okay.
So I was a little more generous with it. I originally had this at between a 9 and a 9.5, but some of those other things, as we were talking about them, like, those are some glaring things that I wasn't really noticing too much because I was getting caught up in the story. I feel like a little more so that I can't ignore them now that I see them, and I can't defend them.
Yeah, I'm glad you went a little higher. Because I will tell you this, I do feel bad that I can't 100% guarantee I completely washed off all of the political stuff that made me feel ill for this movie. Because with the amped up, awesome feeling, I don't know if I'd ever get it for it because of the bad taste I've always had in my mouth over it. But the other thing is one thing I want to be honest about my scores though.
Mm-hmm.
And if I take that out of it, and I just would rather my scores be low for actual reasons that can be debated.
Yep.
And not taste like the CGI thing. Because even though you agree with me, there's a lot of people out there that it's not going to affect, and it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a me problem when it comes to the CGI thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I do feel bad that I gave it a 4 because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was definitely like some of the reason why I drove down further. Because it isn't like a legit argument to have, because there's no, all you can say is it look good. I'm gonna say it look bad. It's like in either way, you could even say that, but I got through it, but I couldn't. So there's no right or wrong here. It's just for me, it wasn't my cup of tea at the end.
Yeah, personal taste. Yeah,
and I feel bad because this is the first time in this where personal taste got more attention than actual facts of things that are issues.
Yeah.
Even though I still had a couple legit ones to complete.
Well, that's why for my final score, I gave the same caveat you did, and I wanted to make sure anyone who's watching or listening to this, I didn't base my score off of any social or political implications this movie was trying to convey. I wanted it and that's why I laid out my problems with the film just alone itself. So yeah.
I do feel bad that I can't get on board with that CGI. I wish I could.
I could forgive some bad CGI as long as the story around it is good.
Yeah,
I understand. I was still entertained with the story. Yeah. But I do agree. I see the faults in it.
Because I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so the official Goodell Multiverse score for Black Panther 1 is 6 out of 10.
Not awful.
No,
Maybe not what people expected.
no, but that's okay.
Maybe not what it kind of deserves, I guess, for the movie it was. But it's hey, we can only be honest up here.
Mhm.
There's gonna be a couple more that come through that you're gonna look at me and be, really? You think that about that? But
Yeah.
so it is, right?
Is there one final sentence you want to leave with this review?
Yes, I think it's this. Despite my issues with the film, I think it's one that you guys, if you're going on this journey with us or on the journey of the MCU in general, don't skip this one.
No.
Definitely watch it. It's
Yeah.
important to the MCU. Chadwick shows why he got the role
Mm.
and how we wish he could have kept it. Obviously, with what happened to him, it's tragic. Which we'll talk about more next time, but or on the next one, or with Black Panther 2.
Yep.
But yeah, don't skip this movie, guys. Just because I gave it a 4, it's definitely it's still a 4 amongst a 1 out of 10 of the best movies out there that we can get for comic books.
Yes.
So don't get me
Yes.
wrong, this is a good movie.
Mhm.
It's just a 4 compared to the others,
Mhm.
and that's kind of, they're contending against some real good stuff.
Mhm.
And the bar has been set high, and I've taken that bar very seriously.
Mhm.
And this movie gets no exception just because it's whatever cultural thing it is.
Yeah.
Because it's, when you got something like Civil War floating around out there,
Mhm.
yeah, up your game, y'all. No more excuses for the plot holes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just me. So watch it though. Don't skip it.
Yes, I agree. Well, it's if I actually I feel like you have a lot more optimism for people that are just watching it right now for the first time than when it came out, only because they don't have that social
Yeah, I'm jealous.
stuff spewed onto
was
it,
a strange time.
It was
It was the first time we felt like politics was invading the MCU.
Yep.
We didn't want it because no, this
Yes.
was to escape all that shit.
Exactly.
This
Yes.
wasn't to get involved in it. This was to
Yes.
go celebrate everybody.
Yes.
And so you guys now, if you haven't seen this, enjoy the hell out of this, because
Yeah.
there was a time where it was almost like, can we even talk about this movie right now? Because
Exactly.
it was a problem. I didn't like that.
This movie really is made for everybody,
Yes.
and we should be able to celebrate other cultures in an MCU movie like this without it getting toxic. So I blame all the toxic people out there that made this movie have bad taste in some people's mouths. For me, I didn't try to let that affect me too much because I did like this movie, and I already know that dogs are gonna bark. So whatever, like. Chill out. So, anyways, thank you guys for staying with us on the Goodell Multiverse podcast. Ike, what do we have coming up on our plate?
Oh, so what we got coming on our plate, guys? Just so you know, it's gonna be episode 20, right?
Oh my gosh!
Can you believe that? Did I just say that right?
Oh, that's true.
Right?
Yes.
Episode 20. I'm enjoying the hell out of this. I can't believe we're at 20 already. Sweet. So we're gonna be episode 20, guys. Oh yeah, that's right. I actually forgot we were doing this. So we're gonna be catching up with the San Diego Comic-Con live the best we can.
Yep.
We're not sure we're gonna be live with you guys yet. If anybody's gonna be watching, we're gonna try. Why not? Be fun.
Yeah.
But what we are gonna do is, at least during our multiverse minute, while we're talking about other things that we put on our docket, we're also going to get interrupted by the computer telling us this just dropped.
Yes.
Just go off on whatever it is and have fun with it. And the multiverse minute is going to take up. They'll depend on our scheduling, and our agenda might change depending on how long that goes. That might be the only thing you get from us in a retrospective next week. We're not sure. We'll see how it goes. But then also we are going to be. Oh my God!
So that
the same day, guys. Guess what movie we are doing for our retrospective? I cannot believe it, and I'm super excited about it. That means I get to watch this 2 or 3 times this week. That makes me even more excited about it. Avengers: Infinity War.
And
what the hell?
I said on the last episode that Black Panther was our mother's favorite. She only really likes just watching Wakanda. I found out she just loves the Wakandan culture and all that stuff. Infinity War is her favorite Avengers movie, so that's cool. The first thing I would ask her is, "What's your favorite Avengers movie?" She's like, "The one they all dust up," and I'm like, "There you go, Infinity War."
I do like that. It's complimentary that we our schedule has landed Avengers Infinity War retrospective on us also probably doing a live reaction to the Doomsday trailer.
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
So I feel, yes, exactly, right? So I feel like we may or may not, we're still discussing how we're going to do this because we want to do is really cool, make this special with the Comic-Con literally the same night we're planning on filming and everything, but Infinity War is already going to take up a lot of oxygen for doing the retrospective review. So we may or may not have a rumor mill rundown. We may or may not. Our branch point breakdown may even be the trailer reaction exclusively itself. We don't really know. We're going to debate all that, guys, but that's up to us to schedule the show for you. But stay tuned. We are going to have it. So we are on Facebook, we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, we're on wherever you stream. So yes, we're all over the interwebs right there. Yeah, so tell your family, tell your friends, and tell your enemies. Get us out there, guys. I hope you enjoyed this retrospective review, and until next time, we'll see you at the movies.